Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the band director chat. First on board, we've got Mr. Ashley. Mr. White is joining us.
Hello.
Hello. How's everybody doing this evening?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. Saw Mr. Glader was trying to get in here, maybe. Mr. Ashley, you've got tickets to a show tonight? Is that right?
Yes, we're going to see Anne Juliet on stage.
So is that in Memphis?
Yes, at the Orpheum. We have a stage called the Orpheum.
Okay.
So yes.
Very cool. Hello, Erica. Thank you for joining us. Now, Mr. Ashley, we learned your first name was Ryan.
Yes, that's right.
Mr. White, what's your first name?
Jordan.
Jordan, nice to meet you officially as your first name and not just Mr. White. Let's see if we have anybody else here that might want to join us. I've come up with a few hot takes.
Oh, hot takes.
To chat about, because last night you can go through, after a live is over, you can go through the comments that were made and see people that asked stuff that you might have missed. So
I love a good hot take.
Yeah, and there was one there that I was like, oh, I want to talk about this one. So
also like playing devil's advocate. I like to argue the thing I don't agree with just to enjoy.
Yeah, you and my husband both.
It annoys my coworkers.
Yeah, he's really good at that. But it keeps me honest because I can get crazy and messy, and he's like brings me back down to earth. And I think everybody needs that. So, all right.
Sorry, I was trying to join the live on my desktop so I can help with the chat, but then it just like kicked me out totally.
Oh. I know. I was trying to make people moderators as well, if they wanted to be. So we'll see. Got a couple people I know that are coming in later tonight. So we'll start off with one of the first things we can ask people as they come in too. I think this would be really cool.
Yeah.
One of the things that somebody said in the chat last night was, I don't like that you call yourselves band directors. That's kind of toxic.
Someone in the chat said that?
Yes.
Or you mean like this chat, not like our personal chat?
Yes, in the chat last night. I went back and looked at all the comments.
Well, I can talk to that because I do think there needs, like, I appreciate some of the people on the chat were calling us band teachers. Mm-hmm. And I actually, and this is why I like my name is Teaching Band, because I think we do need to talk about more that our job is teaching and not just directing. And I think sometimes the word band director could mean that you're just dictating and not helping. So maybe that's what that person was trying to say. I don't know if you're on the chat right now, whoever that was, but I mean, that's the only thing I could think of that why one person would not like the word band director versus band teacher.
Yeah, and I wouldn't bring this up if this wasn't the first time I'd heard that comment. It wasn't from the same person. I don't know where I've heard it. I've heard people talk about it before too. So I'm just curious what your guys' thoughts are.
I mean, that's why my handle is your favorite band teacher, because I didn't want to do director.
Right.
And when I started doing this account, I was a junior high director or junior high teacher. So I was teaching kids for the first time. You can't really direct a band of kids who don't know what to do. So I totally see the point of teacher versus director. I think we teach more than direct a lot of times, especially in a high school and junior high school.
So as a middle school band director, or middle school band teacher, I don't direct. I don't wave my arms.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. This didn't do much for me in college, I learned all this, and then you end up just helping kids play.
Right. Like we're coaching them. I mean, even a coach is a better word, I think. Like, like we're coaching them, we're guiding them, we're encouraging them, we're motivating them. I think there's so many better words than, band director. But you have to understand, like, the whole band director, or just band in general, like the history of it is like military band, right? Like it came from being used and like instruments be used in war, and then it like modulated or evolved, into other things. But yeah.
Right. So, Mr. White, do you have any thoughts on it?
I don't know. I'm kind of on the side of like, it's just kind of like when you call me by my name, like some of them are like Mr. White, some of them are like white man. Like they'll just call me different things just based on my last name. Kind of like just similar ideas of, I don't know, like when you say band director, I'm not just thinking about directing. Like I'm just like, okay, we're directing traffic, we're directing like so. There's just so many different ideas with it that I don't think I've ever thought twice about it, because despite what you call me, like the job's going to remain the same for me.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you in that, and I totally see both sides of it. But to bring the director point back is, we do so much more than just teach.
Yes.
Like we are a director of bands. We handle program. I mean, just planning a concert is more than anything. I'm not putting down other teachers, but I'm sorry, planning a concert is more than anything a math teacher is going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of a little roulette game to do. Is just everyone in each square says, "Hey, what's one thing that you have to do to get ready for a concert?"
Right.
Yeah. My concert's next week.
Yeah, there are so many people that there's so many aspects of doing this job that I believe it does take, it diminishes us by just calling us a teacher. Yes, our teaching is number one, absolutely. But directing, you're right, like Mr. White said, is more than just waving our arms, I guess. And it is from that military aspect, the director or whatever. So I take my director position and I hold it pretty close, because I do more than just teach. Way more.
And I guess it depends like who you are, like I guess how each person defines that word, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, for sure, like when I'm in a space, I say like I'm the band director at this school. I don't say like I'm the band teacher. But I think, there are different generations, right? And how we're talking about how we're millennials or that we're Gen or whatever we are. I just feel like the experience of each generation in their band program is totally different from the other generation. So I think like sometimes, depending on who you're talking to, they may feel or they may not feel that it's like you are doing the leading more, and I'm talking about in the rehearsal space, more than the like educating. So that was just my point. But yeah, I mean, I would definitely say I'm a band director at so-and-so school, or I also say I teach band at so-and-so school. So I just think it depends on like the space and like how I'm trying to define myself versus my job, right? So because we are not a job, like how I describe myself versus
it's way more than that.
Right, exactly.
I wonder what they must have had a poor experience, and that's like the only thing I'm thinking of is they must have had that, the old boomer directors, if you will, throwing chairs and flipping stands and stuff. I know, kind of like the whole reason I became a director was out of spite. So I actually wanted to be a lawyer since I was 10, and then it was March of my senior year of high school. I realized I'd rather, but it was like, what do you want to teach? And then band came to mind, but I mean, a lot of it was because, my director is just not always the kindest man. Didn't always use the best things with us. And that is because, like, you just don't have to be super mean and aggressive to teach kids. Have your fun, have your banter, be strict and when you need to be, but
right.
Get the point across.
Yeah, I do think that it can be, the power trip can go there. I mean, even simply saying, well, I'm not a director if I teach middle school, and only high school directors are directors, like that. I mean, even that's sort of toxic in that way too. So, Mr. Garcia.
Yo.
Thank you for joining us.
Happy to be here. What's up, Mr. Ashley?
Hey, Mr. Garcia.
How's it going? Mr. White?
Hello, sir.
I was thinking, I was like, I wonder why he goes by Mr. White. And I was like, well, then I guess Mr. White would be like from Breaking Bad if he was Mr. White.
I've been called Mr. White since I student taught, and every once in a while kids will bring it up. So it was just kind of a funny haha.
Cool.
Excellent. Well, we were just having some hot takes on whether we should be called band directors or band teachers.
Interesting. Well, what's the consensus? So I can agree with y'all.
A little bit of both. I think we got a little bit of both, and there's all the sides. So your hot take on it.
I don't want to disagree with anybody, but I like director. I mean, because I love teaching, love education. I couldn't see myself doing anything else. But there is a difference when you're managing a budget and you're managing a lot of times staff. I know somebody mentioned the middle school thing, so I guess that could be a part of it. But I really think even at a middle school level, you are directing more than just teaching in the actual classroom. So I think when you involve all of those concepts, I think director is a good term for it.
Yeah,
someone had said coach earlier, and I thought that was a lot closer. It's almost like we need our own term because, it's so encompassing. It's not just teaching.
But anyone can be a coach. What are your?
No, it needs to be a new term. We need our own term.
I mean, what are the qualifications for being a coach?
Here in my district,
willingness.
It is being a faculty member.
Well, I definitely say the whole coach aspect is more like when I'm putting my motivation hat on. You know, like that's what I mean by coach. Cause the whole class is motivation. You know, trying to get them to have their posture, trying to get them to, not give up when they mess up. That's what I feel about coach, and not coach in the sense of making them do drills, scale drills and stuff like that. But like I said, I think it just depends on, the intent and people's words and how they explain it, right? If I'm talking about in this earlier when I was explaining in the sense of maybe they're thinking that word director because of the which generation they came from and of the band teacher, and also whether or not the context of military band, right? If I was a military musician that ended up being a band director, I think that would be a different experience than someone that wasn't in that background. So I think it's very flexible. I think there is no right or wrong answer, but I do think it's based on personal experiences and how they believe band was. I did a clinic over the summer, 2 summers ago, and I told all the teachers there, it's you are in front of the kids. You are giving the kids the definition of what band is. So if you are, whatever that you do, that is what the kid's going to take away thinking that what band is. And so for me, I want my space to be inclusive. I want them to be independent in their, I make them do all the work basically. Where they should, I make them self-assess. I don't really like telling them which section is out of balance. I like them telling me things like that. So I'll just leave it there. But we are giving the students a definition of what band is, and I guess in a way we are also giving them the definition of what a band director is.
Yeah, that's very powerful. Well, let's welcome Brandland Music. Hello.
Hey guys. Sorry,
he looks like
shopping.
He's in the grocery store.
I had to say, it looks like Sam's Club in there.
Oh yeah, multitasking. Kroger.
What is your last name, Brandon?
It's Brandon Landry.
Okay, Brandon Landry. All right, that makes sense. You've got some great videos out about so many cool techniques. Thank you so much for hopping on here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't mean to step on you there. What were you going to say?
No, I said, yeah, absolutely excited to be a part of it. So
following you now.
We
nice.
So we were talking about band director. Let's make it a little bit lighter now. Someone in the chat asked if we let our kids decorate their instruments for any sort of Christmas parade.
No.
Ooh.
I do. I'm sorry.
Not with me.
I started doing it because they brought stuff, and I was like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
I was feeling festive in the moment, and now it's what it is. And Mr. White, tell me why.
Tinsel, clarinet keys.
Oh.
That's one example. Jingle bells stuck in tuba for approximately 12 years. Something like anything go wrong, trombone slide, something gets tangled on a light, bounces back, you break your 2 front teeth, which
Yeah.
a fun story for you.
Oh, yeah, I've never had jingle bells. No one's brought jingle bells. That's interesting. There'll be like hats, you know, Santa hats and stuff. I say if you're going to do, no tinsel, because that was a mess one year. You're right, yeah. Nothing glittery. So.
Did any of y'all do a marching show in Halloween outfits? Costumes?
Ooh, I wanted to so bad. It landed on Halloween this year.
I did growing up. We did a Halloween parade for our elementary school.
Yeah.
And led the elementary school through the town with their costumes on, and we would dress up and do the same thing. So
yeah. For us, it landed on Halloween, and it was the last game, but it was also our senior night. So I just wanted it for the content. I was like, that'd be hilarious to get a funny video like that. But I got like I did a little like poll with some parents, and I felt like their heart was more like, I want to see my kid in their last show and their last performance at this school instead of a dinosaur running around, you know, the field doing a show.
That's what we ended up deciding to. The head director said absolutely not. All the kids wanted to do it. Yeah. But I think at the end of the day, he was right. It's your senior night. Yeah. Enjoy your last game in your last uniform.
Yeah, correct.
We've got fans of almost everybody in here tonight. Shout out to Miss Gates. Shout out to Mr. White. Lots of fans of Mr. White in here tonight, guys.
Oh, Mr. White's a hit.
Mr. White, they want to know about the bass clarinet.
What are we wanting to know about the bass clarinet?
Is clarinet your main instrument, Mr. White?
Clarinet.
I think I had like 2 of my bass clarinet players in here, if I'm reading correctly.
And something about Braden losing his music in his instrument.
I think that's my kid that when he switched to baritone in 6th grade, he was one of the ones, like he was a trumpet before, so smaller case, and then now bigger. It's like, ooh, I can put stuff in here. And then I think he was like, Mr. White, I cannot find my music anywhere. Goes to play, and I'm like, sounds very muffled, buddy. Did you leave it in there? And he goes, oh, okay.
Is that your main instrument, Mr. White?
Mine is trombone and euphonium, and then I also did bassoon in college a lot.
Oh, cool.
Oh.
I actually have a funny story about something being inside an instrument. This kid was like, Miss Gates, my valve won't go all the way down. Something is blocking it, or he didn't know it was wrong. And so I, took it apart and I used all my tools, and it was a Lego piece. Like a random little red Lego piece had to get into the trumpet or the valve. I have no idea. But I took a picture, sent it to mom, and they got it taken care of. But that was the first.
This year, I had a trumpet player had problems with his instrument, and it was in the middle of marching season. So I was like, you know what? It was a middle school trumpet, but it was during marching season. So at that point, I'm not checking instruments myself. I'm just sending them in to repair. And I get a call from our repair person, and he said, who played this instrument? And I told him it was a middle school kid, and he goes, okay. He goes, are you sitting down? And I said, yes. Melted Skittles throughout the entire instrument. He somehow got them out. Like, I think what had happened is that the kid had left Skittles in a bag, and this is crazy, but this is exactly what happened. He says that he didn't actually put them into the instrument. I really doubt that, but there was a bag of Skittles in his instrument case. They got into the instrument, melted because it was in his car. It's ridiculous.
Oh.
Yeah, good thing it was a really old trumpet, and it wasn't too expensive, but still.
So, somebody in the chat asked us if any of us teach in Texas, and I think I know where everybody teaches except for Mr. Landry. Where do you teach, Mr. Landry?
I'm in Georgia, north of Atlanta.
And Mr. Ashley, you're in Arkansas, right? But close to Tennessee, right? Almost in Memphis,
Kansas.
Yes, Arkansas. There's Mr. Campbell.
Hello.
Happy birthday, man.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us tonight. We have another West Virginian in the house.
Yeah, West by God.
What's up, Mr. Campbell?
If
Hey,
you
how's it
guys
going,
don't
man?
know, Mr. Campbell revived the high school band program at his high school that he went to when it had fallen to shambles, and
Love it.
has been bringing it back to life over the past 3 years. Is that right?
Yeah, this is my
Nice.
third year.
Oh,
Yeah.
How cool is that?
He's been doing amazing stuff. Like, there was nothing there. No kids in the band. Like, a broken band room. Lots of drums, though. There were lots of bass drums.
Yeah, I think I have 13 bass drums.
Wow.
How far are y'all from each other?
Pretty far.
Yeah, it's pretty far. It's like more than 5 hours.
So, like, okay, well, if this is the state of West Virginia right
Literally.
here, I'm over here,
that's so special.
and
thing.
he's down here.
Yep. That's how
Tough to
people
say.
describe it.
This is what we do. Michigan has the mitten. We have this.
Yeah, that's exactly what we do.
That's my trumpet player.
He's here.
Yep.
I'm here. I grew up
Blocking
here.
Miss Allen right now.
Hey, we have the
Mr.
best.
Campbell,
Our state
I'm
is
gonna need some
Sure.
mustache tips.
Oh,
That's a
hey.
true middle school teacher.
Oh yeah, man, just use wax.
Hey, if those of you who are in the chat now and watching, please go follow all these amazing creators. They put out some amazing band content. I'm learning from them every day. I'm laughing with them every day. Check these guys out. I did not flip you off, no.
And that's where I teach.
Oh, no, I was just giving you a piece. Like, hey, this is how I say hey. My band kids who it's so funny when I walk around the hallway and instead of saying hi, I just go like this to the kids and they just give me a nod up.
Mr. White is so funny.
There's a great question posed here. What do you look for in pieces? What do you try to expose your kids to?
That's a good question.
That was from, I lost it. No, it's thebomb.com.
Yeah, so I think, like for me, I'm already thinking about that because, you know, our concerts next week, we did run throughs. I record, you know, a lot of our classes, so I think here, which every person should do is record classes.
Yeah.
And what I realized is for me, for the next concert, I'm actually going to pick pieces that reinforce what they need to work on. So I thought that like I did that with these pieces and I did. We worked on like staccato and like things like that. Then I realized like what we really need to do is like maybe have pieces that have a lot of unison rhythms together because they're having a hard time like knowing their function, whether or not they're like melody or like knowing when to come out in the music and knowing when to send back. So,
Yeah.
but I still want their theme this year to be about blend and listening. Like I have I want them to work on that because last year we worked on a lot of other stuff. And so I think for me, I'm going to find pieces that have a lot of like unison rhythm, maybe like only 3 layers versus like 5. You know, depending on the composer, like sometimes I like to give like so many layers and it's great. But
Yeah.
I think for this next concert, I'm going to look for that. I'm also going to look for like a lyrical piece because I haven't really done that. Like it involves them to subdivide these longer values, like whole notes and these ties. So for me, it's kind of like, okay, we did this for this concert. You know, what skills do I need to help them for, you know, the next concert? And then the last concert will kind of be, because we have 3 concerts in a year, kind of a combination like, or a collage of all the stuff we worked on. And that course will be a little bit more technical, but that's how I'm currently thinking about it. I also make sure that I have different composers. Like if I did a Randall Strandage piece for the first concert, I'm going to try not to do one of his pieces, just even though my band loves him. But like I looked at all the pieces that we played and we played like 6 of his pieces like in a row. And so I'm just trying to make sure they have different sounds.
There ain't nothing wrong with that. If it's good, it's good music. Sorry to interrupt.
No, well, I was just going to say that composers have like their specific sound, right?
Yeah.
And you know, I would love to bring back, you know, Gerard Hall because I did his pieces a while ago. And that's how I'm thinking about it, right? Of course, the music is great, things like that. But I'm just trying to make sure that just like we don't want all of the kids to only know Robert W. Smith. It's kind of like that thing. Like make sure they know all different kind of voices, because everyone has their own voice and style in the way they write, and they all offer good things for our students.
That's wonderful, Erica. I just am good music. Good music. It's got to be good. I'm not going to play crappy music, and and good is relative. So
yeah,
a good music, and it's got to have like fun parts for everybody.
Yeah,
everybody's got to have. If they're bored, like we played this version of the Rainbow Connection recently, and it was great, and the kids loved it. Even though the low brass didn't get a lot of fun parts, they still liked it because they knew the song. And I was like, "But guys, I'm sorry, but I know your part's not super interesting." And they're like, "It's okay," and I was like, "No, we're going to do better next time." And obviously, you have to pick music that's based on your ensemble. Like I have 8 percussionists in every class. I have to pick music that has percussion in it. So that's how I think about it.
I kind of go based on, so kind of, especially in the younger groups, like my middle school or even 6th grade, because like I'm looking for music for finale. Honestly, I already have a list of, what are we going to do for Christmas 2026? So, and that's the kids, they're always confused about that. They're like, well, what are we doing, next month? And I tell them, they're like, how do you know that? I'm like, because you have to plan in advance. Now, it's not going to be set in stone because you never know what kids come and go or what changes or anything like that. But I always try to plan for the next big thing and how are we getting there. So there's a difficult piece I want to do with my middle schoolers for their Six Flags performance where we get judged, called Heavenwards by William Owens. And I think one of the good ways to get there with intonation, balance, and blend is to do one that challenges them just as much. So I want to do Rippling Watercolors with them by Balmages for the March concert. Start achieving those things, so then the transition into Heavenwards is a lot simpler. Just the same as we're going to do Mighty Might, which is in cut time. So we've been looking a lot at cut time recently to help get to those points.
Yeah, that's great. Anybody else, how they pick their music?
Not only you have to pick good music, but the other challenging thing is picking something that they're going to feel successful on.
Right.
And a lot of people will overpick, and you pick something really hard that you want to play, and the kids are not successful on it. And at the end of the day, if you would have picked something that would have done well for them, they would have had a better experience and missed out on something.
That's good.
Absolutely. I was guilty of that when I first started teaching all the time.
It's tough because
you gotta know your group and you gotta know your range. Like if you've got flute player and like you want to kind of feature some of that, looking for pieces like that. I mean, I teach 4th and 5th graders, so most of my kids are beginners. So a lot of it is about like achievable range and then like stuff that's going to be fun for them. Because I'm trying to get them to the middle school level and keep band fun right for them, and so trying to get them to that next level and just like you said, not picking stuff that's going to be over their head. We're all guilty of that as like new band writers. We want to play the stuff we played in high school or we played in middle school, and maybe it was high level stuff, maybe not, but then you're making stuff that the kids don't sound great on. And I think teaching band, you said you record your groups, and that's super important. No, go ahead.
Oh, we're losing you a little bit. It's awesome.
No, I'm just.
Sorry, you're going to go in and out, Mr. Landry.
Okay.
Sorry.
You're good. Go ahead. You're good. Go ahead.
I think when it comes to picking music, I think it's important to pick music that is at the level they're at when they're beginning to learn it. Which some people might fight me on, like, oh, I can get them there, and you might be able to. But there could be a lot of hurdles that could come in the way. Like, we're coming up on winter. We got snow days coming. We have assessment March 26th, where we have to go play for the judges. And I know that I have to pick music that is my kids are going to be able to play with, could have 2 weeks of snow. Who knows? So I've learned that it's not about me getting them there. It's about me knowing they'll be able to play it.
Yep.
Like when I hand it out, did we read it well? or did I drag them kicking and screaming through the reading?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
Mr. Bergman posted a video a few days ago. One of his tips, he said that one of the most common reasons that kids leave band, it's because they don't feel successful.
Right.
And so if you're able to choose, it's like it's such a fine line between choosing a piece that's too complicated and choosing a piece that's too easy. I've had kids literally be able to sight read it and go, well, what am I supposed to do now? And obviously that's where you add in the musicality and you start adding in the layers that you can add. But at the end of the day, we need I think more focus, even at the when you're like a music ed major, should be focused on choosing good music. Like it could mean the difference between a 1 and a 2 at like a marching competition whenever they're in high school, or a one and a, or I don't know if they use the same rating system everywhere, but 1 and a 2 on a concert stage as well, if you choose the right piece based off of your ensemble.
music choice is huge. Absolutely. Any other thoughts on picking music?
Yeah, I mean, just to piggyback on that, like the success of it is important, because like the kids are good at it, they're not going to have fun with it. And if they're not having fun, these days, unfortunately, they're going to be like, all right, let's move on to the next thing. Attention spans are kind of short sometimes, and they want to feel that success. And so we kind of have to meet them where they're at with that, because there's a lot of things these days that are pulling their attention. Even on my 4th and 5th grade level, they're like, and let's see, after the first year, do I really want to continue, or, what can I do to get them to buy in?
Which brings me to another hot take of the night. Should we expect our students to practice outside of the band room?
Well, I think that, here's how I operate. I operate with the assumption that they will not. That's pretty much what I do. I want them to, and some will, but I think that they just won't do it, and so I just bake into our time, the ability for me to teach them how to do these things as if they were not going to do it.
Great point.
I think I have so many kids that, like, for example, if something I know can go better, but it's not, I'll use sometimes like the threat of a playing test, for example, and it's like, okay, take it home and practice. But then I always end up having so many looking at me almost in tears because they take the threat seriously. But it's like, I have basketball tonight, and then I have this, and then I have church, and I'm at a smaller school where every kid does everything.
Yeah.
So it is a give and take thing. I usually try to give them some kind of incentive if they hit a certain point by a certain date. So that helps with some practicing, but ultimately, kind of what Mr. Ashley said, I mean, they probably practice.
I always try to structure my class as if they don't think about band for the next 23 hours.
That's good.
So I've got this 1 hour with them, and then they won't think about me for 23 hours. And I know I'm in a different situation. My kids are 100% free and reduced lunch. We're in a very, very, very poor, crazy neighborhood. It's not easy to live in. And so they really don't think about my class 23 hours. Now, I can try and get them after school and do some other things, but independent outside of class practice, I can't really expect to happen.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Someone is like underwater with their sound. It sounds so. Maybe we need to click.
It's because Mr. Ashley is drag racing. That's what's going on. Is the sound you're hearing?
I don't know if there's a button you can click where it says like background noise. Take that down or something. The moderator has asked me to ask you guys.
Mr. Brandland Music took us on an adventure too. We were in Sam's, and then we were in a car. Now we're home, I think, with him. Where are we going
now
next?
We're home. We're in my wife's office here. Her office.
Okay, I got you.
Excellent.
So thank you to your husband for moderating. Is that who's moderating?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's
awesome.
He's multitasking. He's on a little bit. He's off a little bit. So help keep an eye on the chat. Make sure nothing gets inappropriate. So we have somebody who says, Brandy says, I practice almost every day, but my son doesn't practice outside of school. Well, yeah.
I mean, I think you can encourage it, only so much. I mean, with them, you can, if you're consistent with your assessments, if you do like have them do a video thing and then you check it kind of as you go, if you're doing the karate thing or, whatever, to have them kind of work toward those things. Like my daughter is in my band this year as a fourth grader. And, sometimes she's going to practice, sometimes she's not. The other day, she actually had a friend over and they did a little play date practice thing. And that was unprompted. She did that on her own. I mean, like you said, some kids are going to be real self-starters and want to do that, and then sometimes not. I mean, and having your kid in your program, I mean, sometimes like when she's taking critique from me at home, it doesn't go so well. In school, it's fine. She does well, but like if it's us one-on-one, she's just kind of like, I don't want to do this sort of thing. She'd rather kind of do it on her own.
Yeah, I'm teaching my son in 7th grade right now, and he auditioned for the All-State Band in West Virginia. And the way that works is they have to send in a video to audition. And the amount of crash outs we had, like, of him trying to record this video, and I need help. That's not help. Like, he wants help, but he doesn't want it like the way I'm helping. And so it's just it's fun. It's interesting. I'm like, you can look at me as mom or you can look at me as the expert, hopefully. Like, we'll see, either way. But there's something to be said about like letting them practice in the band room during lunch too. As long as it doesn't turn into something crazy. I like to let that happen. But then they're like, all right, let's play 25 or 6-4, everybody. All right, everybody join in. And I'm like, no. That's not practicing.
Right.
That's playing in band.
Right.
It's different.
Yeah, I try to do it when I can't. I have morning duty in the morning for carpool. So usually, like when I taught middle school for a long time, I didn't have that morning session. So I'd have just open morning practice sessions. So the kids could come in early and just work on whatever they wanted. They could work in pairs, they could work individually, but I would just be there kind of working on stuff, prepping for the day. And if they had questions, I was there for it. But otherwise, they could kind of do their thing. So
all this being said, how rewarding is it when a kid does take their instrument home and does practice?
Oh, yeah.
I got a video from a kid. It was like an email I think it was right at the beginning of the break. And he sent me a video of his playing. He had gone ahead like 2 or 3 numbers in the book. He was It was funny because he was practicing outdoors. It was one of those, parents sent him out because he was making too much noise indoors. I think you have to consider the fact that, not to blame anything on parents. I know that's fun to do, but depending on the parents, some parents are going to force their kids to practice their Spanish homework, to do their math homework. And some parents, I'm not judging them, but some parents don't have an intense focus on working on schoolwork after. So I think that is also a factor that we have to consider. And unfortunately, we are teaching kids of this generation, not of 20 years ago, whenever there wasn't as many distractions available to them. And you still have to try to produce great work, but there are some challenges that are unique to our time.
Yeah, we have to hold, for my son, we had to hold something over him just to get him to practice for All-State. We had to be like, hold like a carrot and be like, all right, you can't go to youth group unless you practice every day. And then he was like, hey, I'm getting better.
Yeah.
And you're like, imagine, like, it has to be his idea, just like good principals, principals, it's got to be their idea. We just got to help them, right?
That's right. That's right. Edwin Martinez commented in the chat, how do you evaluate student progress today? And he put in parentheses, playing tests.
Oh yeah. Back in the day, my band directors would go down the line, or they'd pull you in the office. We had 2 band directors, and so they would switch out. But I mean, those days are, kind of long gone. I tried that in the beginning, but it just takes up so much class time, and it's just, I feel like it's a waste doing it that way.
Yeah.
But like I said, for me, it's those like video assessments. I can give them feedback on my own time. They can do as many takes as they want, and that's what works for me. But
we did playing tests. We do a lot in beginning band and 6th grade band just to keep them going. But then once they get 7th and 8th grade band, I do a couple of marking periods just so I can fill the quota. And I try to make it something fun. I want them to play a melody that they're going to go home and want to play that melody at home. if it's playing test number 13, essential elements quiz, they don't want to play that. They want to go home and play Morning, from Peer Gynt Suite. They want to play Hard Rock Blues, or they want to play, the song that's fun for them. And if it helps the skill, that's great. Now, Jingle Bells doesn't. It only has 5 notes. They need by Jingle Bells, they need to be doing more notes. But hey, Chris is joining us. Thank you for hopping on Cooking with Valve Oil. Welcome.
What's up, sir?
Clever name.
How are y'all?
I like it.
It's always mixed reviews on the name. Some people love it. A lot of people hate it. But we're going to keep it.
That's a video idea. We should try to fry an egg in valve oil and see what happens.
Ooh, imagine blue juice
so
and
That's
an
something
egg.
Jimmy would
Blue
do.
juice
We'll have
and
to
an
ask Mr. Kneisel to do that.
Oh, yeah.
That's
the
where
only-
Mr. Kneisel is. He's at a church service tonight. He plays organ at his church, and he is running that tonight. So
I just came back from singing at church, so that's where we were.
Someone said, "Does valve oil fry?" Anything can fry.
Yeah, it just doesn't fry well, I guess, is the question.
Yeah.
So for the assessments this year, we're trying to make music for the assessments, but I think it's a big learning curve for the kids because it's like very particular, like the way the settings is, and sometimes it says that it plays it wrong when they actually played it right, or vice versa, that it played it right when it really was wrong. But yeah, I'm trying to. First quarter, we didn't really have like formal assessments. Second quarter and moving on, we're having one every 2 weeks. Next week they have it off because it's our concert. And really what I told them is like, it's just for me to check in because we do lessons quarter 1, like throughout the school year. We're allowed to do I do lessons quarter 1 and quarter 4. And so for quarter 2 and quarter 3, like I just don't have that like check in with them to see like, what is it? Is their tonguing getting better or whatever? And I told them like that's really what it is. When I'm asking for you to submit you playing something, I just want to know like where you're at, so it'll help me in teaching in class. Yeah. Like if everyone in the whole 7th grade band is not, which I figured out, they're not tonguing the same, or they're not even tonguing at all. Then I'm like, okay, like going back to me saying earlier, like I'm picking rhythmic unison pieces because all their assessments are telling me they're just not like consistently tonguing in the front of the note or the beginning of the beats. And so like, yeah, I just think that for students in the chat, like when your teacher is asking for assessments, it's not like there are like laughing, like, oh yeah, I get to my students do so much work at their home or whatever. I don't think they're or maybe, well, for me, I'll say that, but like, it's really like, how can I help you? I only have 3 years with you. Like my kids, I only have 3 years with you. I want you to have the best experience possible. And so when I want you to send me something to play, is because like, I actually genuinely want to hear how you play. I want to hear how you sound, because I became a band director to give my kids a better experience than I have. I struggled. Like I may be an awesome sight reader now, but rhythm was not my thing. It was not my thing. And so like, yeah, I just want to like help people because that's like what I want to do.
Yeah, playing tests to me are just a way to see like, are you getting any better?
Right.
Can you play the new concept we just learned? Like even if the clarinet's just learned going over the break, like I'm not really testing them on the break. Like I'm testing them to see if they understood what it was and how to do it. And like, are they going really slow? All right, at least they're doing it. All right, we'll get a piece down the road that gets them doing it, and then we'll play Don't Stop Believin', which goes over the break, and then they'll love playing it because they want to play that melody, and that's where it's at. So. I don't grade them very difficult. Now, if they don't practice and they sound horrible, that's a different story.
We've gotten away from playing tests at my school, but mainly because we've got a team of 6 directors and we're at every class. And so, I mean, I teach every trumpet in our district. And, there's someone else that teaches.
Consolidate?
We've consolidated some, but we've just begged our administrators, and then we finally made it happen. And so there's 5 of us that go to every class, and then our percussion teacher, he's with us when the drummers are in the class, and then he teaches percussion classes separate, for beginners and whatnot. But we don't really do playing tests because they get so much one-on-one, and it's helped a lot.
See, it just goes to show, like, you can't compare yourself to anybody but yourself the day before. Like,
yeah.
Every band director situation is so nuanced and different. Like, there's no situation that's exactly the same because every school is set up different. Yeah. There's different, I might be the only one at my school. Mr. White might be the only one at his school. Like, there's so many situations that are different.
That's where I just kind of, like, when I first took over this position, so we do 6th grade band, a middle school band, which is 7th and 8th combined, and then high school. And when I first got here, there's a little over 70 kids in the program total. And then this is year 4, and I'm up to 125. We're on a 4-day school week. So for me, like, I know that's awesome. If I try to compare myself, like, my hometown is just down the road, and it was a 4A, 5A school. There's no sense in comparing that. In any capacity, especially when I'm by myself doing that.
Yeah, it just goes to show you that, you compare yourself to who you were yesterday.
That's right.
Hopefully you're better than you were yesterday. So, all right, we got any questions in here in the chat? I generally think the band world would improve if we had more enjoyable melodies to test instead of scales. I don't use scales until they get in like 8th grade, so that's me.
I use scales for karate as like it's a boring thing, but it's a fun incentive. So that way they're still getting some enjoyment out of it. But
I love scales.
Yeah, I would love to start doing like a pass off, like so they could earn something, for it. Because let me tell you, kids don't want to do anything for grades. Maybe 10% of kids will do something for a grade. But everyone else would do something for some candy.
Yep.
Yeah, I use stickers in my classroom. They love the stickers. We have binders, and so like the front pocket is clear. It has like their name and their instrument. And when they get a sticker, they pull it up. But that's just like motivation, not necessarily assessments. But
right.
But yeah, and like
I think my younger
scales every semester they pass off all the scales required, and it's tremendous. It makes
my husband, the moderator, is asking if anybody has anything speaking or playing in the background of their, because there's some sound issues, I guess. So.
Well, it stopped, so it might have been.
You scared it.
I'm not hearing it as big a deal as he is, I think, but he is the moderator. Thank you.
I'm about to hop off, so I'm going to say bye.
Have a great time at your show. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
So, see y'all later. Thanks for the invite. Hope you do it again.
Absolutely.
See you, sir.
And I may have some in the future. I may have some special, like, surprise guests. So, stay tuned. Yeah, I wasn't sure what it'd be like the day before Thanksgiving, but I knew I had the time, so I was like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
We're traveling tomorrow.
What do you think is the best instrument?
The one you play. Whatever you play.
Unless it's flute.
I get that question all the time from my students. What's your favorite one to listen to? What's your favorite one to play?
I just say the one that sounds good.
Yep. Yours when it sounds good. You know where I could buy a used tuba? Reverb.com. That's where I would send people.
The tuba exchange.
Say if they're on the East Coast, Dylan Music in New Jersey is pretty great. They've got a lot of awesome stuff.
Good to know. Facebook Marketplace will hit up a tuba every now and then in my region.
Yeah.
I was able to buy a concert bass drum from Facebook Marketplace.
I have 3 concert bass drums. I have. Does anybody need one? Like, you can come and get one from me. I'm serious. I have 3. So, I actually had someone who was gonna come and get one once, and then they backed out because if you're not in the middle school band director Facebook group, you need to be. It's such a good group, especially if you teach middle school. I think I've learned more there than I learned in my undergraduate. So trombone slide lock keeps getting stuck. Any advice?
Do you mean like
why?
Yeah, do you mean you're not turning it and like?
I think that because I've had this happen before, that when they pull the slide to first position, it sticks, and then trying to get it back out.
So trombone player, I guess like if they're talking about the slide lock specifically, I've used like a rawhide hammer to hit the lock and start moving it and just get it loose. But if their slide is like staying in first, there's something stopping it. And I didn't learn this till college, even as a trombone player, but because you always get taught to oil the slide and things like that. Sometimes they'll teach you to wipe off the inner slide. No one talks about cleaning the outer slide. So like actually getting the rod and the tool to clean it out. I did that with one of my 6th grade trombone players because it was bad. It was like sandpaper trying to get that slide off. And I did it for him, and I showed him. I was like, "Hey, this is what your slide should look like." Held up the trombone, and then the slide just dropped on the rubber bouncer. He's like, "It can do that?" And I said, "Yeah, but it's
right,
not all easy."
Yeah, giving it a good clean. Hello, Neil. Welcome. Hi. Another Georgian here.
Thanks. I'm sitting in the car. My daughter's got a French horn lesson tonight. I'm in the car.
Aw. And Miss Williams is here too. Welcome.
Hello.
We're talking about trombone slides and taking some comments. Someone also mentioned, what was our favorite piece to play? Favorite song to work on? Just that always works. I don't know. I have a piece that I play almost like clockwork every 3 years. It's called Alleluia by Elliot Del Borgo. It's a play it's like taking the tune of Christ the Lord is risen today and putting it in a band piece. Basically it's a hit every time. Kids love it. It's challenging. I can play it at festival and make it as perfect as I can. Like, so just certain songs, like, it's not that I love them, it's just I know I can teach them well. So there's something to that.
Okay. I have one question, and I don't mean to make this whole thing awkward. I'm trying to use my laptop, but it's not working. So does anybody know how to do that, or perchance?
I was having trouble getting it to work on the laptop too.
Yep.
Okay.
I had to move to my phone. Yeah.
That's fancy. All right. Yeah, one of my favorite pieces that I cycle back through is Acceptance by Andrew Poor. It's a very simple piece, but it's such a beautiful piece, and it causes a lot of emotion. So
what's it called?
Acceptance.
Okay.
Love it.
Mine is
he's a really cool dude. He's a Georgia band writer.
Okay. Nice.
Kevin Mixon's Junk Funk is a classic for my 6th graders. They play on buckets, trash cans. It's a good one.
See, I would judge that.
Is that a band piece?
Junk
Is that a band piece?
Yes.
But it's got buckets and stuff.
Yeah.
So percussion's playing the buckets, or is everybody
so
playing? So
percussion's going to play buckets, then like a big 30-gallon trash can for your bass drum, and then metal trash can lid for suspended cymbal, and then the rest of the band. I like it because that's when you start splitting trumpet and clarinet parts. So we introduced that at the end of 6th grade. First clarinets will cross the break up to B and C, and then trumpets will start going above C. But it kind of features everyone. There's a fun little part with trumpets going from A to G sharp back and forth. So during their feature, I have them stand up for those couple measures, sit back down. I usually give them sunglasses to wear too.
I love doing that with 6th graders, getting them to stand up for the glissando at the end of the song, that's great. Any other? We got.
I'm gonna give my favorite, and then I'm gonna take off. I'm on dinner duty. Amazing Grace, Frank Kelly. It is way too hard to do, really, usually, but it's a selfish choice. It's for me. I just love that piece. Okay, guys, take care. Nice to talk to all of you.
Bye, Mr. Garcia. Thanks for hanging out tonight. Any other favorite pieces?
I think Cyclone by Michael Orr is a really great piece.
That's a great piece.
Yeah, it's a great piece. It sounds, It actually is quite challenging because of the counting. But like, man, do the kids love that song. Like, it just sounds so great. It's great low brass part. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. It's so boss, actually. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. You've got to have...
Dun, dun, dun. It's so good.
It's great
the way he scores.
Yeah.
The way he scores chords are really cool. I just bought 2 more of his pieces. I don't remember what they are off the top of my head, but they just came out and they're solid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for middle school last year, I found one called "Into the Dragon's Lair" by Jonathan Jaworski. It's a really good 6/8 introduction. That's not Starfire fanfare from Randy Standy, but a lot of my kids really liked it. Connor's probably going to comment in the chat. It's really nice, and the opening is this like big dramatic huge bass drum kind of stuff, slow, and then it kind of brings you up to this, bum ba ba bum ba dum ba dum ba da ba da ba ba. It's very like piratey adventure like.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was a really great introduction to Compound without hurting their brains and watching it melt out the one ear while they try and play out the other. So
well, that's why I like all the videos that people make with their top pieces. I think you did one of those the other day, but we did that with the fall concert and some of our favorite pieces. And when I see y'all do it, like, okay, what do you got? So those are really cool videos to make.
I've just got a running list I keep adding to it of like, all right, I got to look at that one. So
yeah, I usually
my notes app on my phone.
I have a list. So I spoke at our instrumental pedagogy class at my college the past couple years, and I create a list of all the songs that I've played that I love, and I kind of have them organized by when I teach them. So I'm like, this is beginner, this is kind of like after beginner, this is the next concert, and I have them all organized that way, and I share them with people too. So yeah, I have my ongoing list, but I do want to become more, I guess, and this could be after we're done doing this, talking about like just more diversity in the composers, making sure I always have a woman, some women on there, making sure it's not just a white man that is playing, an old dead white man. That
I can definitely help you with that. That was part of my master's work.
Yeah, that'd be great. Did everybody get to say their favorite pieces? Anybody else have something else that they love teaching?
My middle school kids always loved Engines of Resistance. I forget the composer off the top of my head. It's been a few years since I taught middle school, but that one was always fun. Or Adrenaline Engines. They enjoyed those too.
Engines of Resistance. Neil,
the hymn song of Philip Bliss. Yeah, and American Elegy. That someone said that in the chat. American Elegy was the piece. It's by Frank Kelly. It was the piece that, as a high school student, I was like, wow, like music is something really special. And for that person, this is for you. Like, I don't know if you play trumpet or clarinet, but there is this one spot where like the clarinet first is like one on a part, has this solo, and it's not even really solo, it's really just like whole notes, but the trumpet player has the solo. But I was playing clarinet, and my friend Michael Huffman, shout out to Michael Huffman for listening, he was playing the solo, and that was the first time that I looked at us, like we were looking at each other to make sure that we were like matching and blending and everything. And we didn't know that. I mean, obviously in music school, like they teach you that, like how like you make sure you're communicating and things, but like we just decided in that moment to look at each other, and then it was like the best moment ever, and I still have that in my heart forever. So I love American Elegy.
Yeah,
I have a.
If we want to go back,
that's a great one.
I have a funny story about American Elegy because we performed it and we had Fred Fennell coming through the area. So he came on stage and he said, all right, who's going to do the trumpet solo? I said, I am. So he wanted it off stage. So I go off stage and he says, oh, no, further. So it was one of those, just kept going further. I was up in the rafters, standing in between organ pipes, pointed the wrong way, couldn't see anything on stage. And he finally shouts and there's an echo. Perfect. Try it now. So we did it, and I couldn't tell you how anything sounded, how it was,
right?
But I wasn't going to argue with that kind of man.
So I'm sorry, did you just casually drop Fred Fennell?
Yeah, he was coming through the area, so.
I have a Fred Fennell story too, but I'll save that for another time. Neil, did you tell us your favorite piece?
I didn't, but I'm really excited. I'm going to play Earth Song this year. I'm a big Sanctuary. I like Sanctuary a lot, so I'm excited to play Earth Song with my group. Pretty excited.
Did anybody get that?
Because that's based on Sanctuary.
Did you say Earth Song?
Oh, is it?
It's
Earth
cutting
Song,
it out.
yes, I'm excited to play that.
Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah,
sorry, I'm
I did
in the
that for
country.
summer band. Great piece.
I don't know how I got that, but
good job.
I love
Sanctuary. I will say, if I could go back, in high school, there was a song that I think probably made me realize I wanted to be a band director, and I wish I could play with my band, but it's a little too hard for my band. And this is going to date me, but I think Neil might have played this too. But "The Light Eternal" by James Swearingen.
Swearingen.
Oh my gosh, we played a Swearingen every year, but "The Light Eternal," there was something about that piece that just made me melt into a puddle of band kid. And I would love to be able to play that, but I think it might be a little too hard for my group. It might be one of those that I would be like, come on, guys, let's do it.
Now, the light internal piece is the one with the wind-up siren. Yeah.
And it's got this like cannon-y effect of like a fugue. It's got this fugue effect in the middle of the clarinets and the flutes, and every section does this thing. And I was like, I have to learn the flute part. I played clarinet at the time. I was like, give me a flute. I'm learning that flute part. And I think it was then when I realized, I was like, I guess this is my life. Like, and then I was like, oh, I want to learn French horn.
That's a good tune.
Want to play French horn? Yeah, exactly. So
that piece for me, like playing wise in high school, was Egmont.
Overture.
Egmont
yes,
Overture.
and I was like, oh my gosh, like I know this is old, but like, whoa. So it's just one of those things. Like it's my happy place. So the kids are just like, what are you listening to? I'm like, happy place. Don't talk. Next 8 minutes.
Now college, that's a different story. That music I'll never get to play like with a band, but that was, I lived in college and then that was it. So different music. Miss Williams, she is from Mississippi. Oh, we get to fill in a new state, folks.
Yeah.
Yes, I am from the tip.
Okay, here we go. Mississippi. Are you in up here?
Yesterday, my kids were racing each other to spell it.
Yes, come back.
Do you learn crooked letter, and humpback?
No, I never loved that as an elementary. I hated that.
Look at that map. Look at us.
We are filling up, folks. We are filling up. We're getting there. Awesome. All right, we all said our favorite pieces. Okay. Let's go to a hot take. Let's go to a hot take of the night. Do you think you should have to pass a percussion test to be able to play percussion?
Yeah.
You mean like for beginning band? Like, hey, I want to. Okay.
Yes.
What's the test? Can you give an
Yeah.
example?
I was about to say,
Like, I do think they need to make sure they can keep tempo, but
Yes.
I
But-
know.
You can't keep a beat in a bucket. Like, should you be allowed to play percussion?
No, the first test is, do they call it percussion or drums? If they call it drums, no.
There it is. Yeah.
yeah.
I tell them every time. They go, Mr. White, I want to play drums. And I said, okay, so first off,
Percussion.
snare and bells, call it percussion. We'll start there. Okay. Once you do that, then I want to play the set. Well, I'm glad you knew what that was called. That's like level 3. You're on level 0.01.
Yeah.
I tell my kids never date a drummer, only a percussionist.
No.
Okay.
Nice.
But it's the truth. I mean, if you think about it, and if you start, percussion learns 10 to 15 instruments in 1 year, while trumpets are still struggling which fingers 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
So, I mean, I think that unfortunately, yes, by the nature of the instrument, they're to a higher standard, but they can also drive that bus off a bridge if they really want. So you've got to make sure that everyone's set up for success, themselves included.
Yeah, I think just really telling them when the beginning or the petting zoo or whatever that is for beginning band directors should let them know like what exactly they're signing on. Because it's like I tell them, like you're playing like all of these instruments.
They have to be so independent,
right?
Too.
Right.
If they're constantly following somebody else, and then all of a sudden they have to play triangle by themselves, and no one else is playing triangle, well, hey, you signed up for this. And the sitting, you're not allowed to sit. Sorry, you signed up to stand.
Well, that's why I don't start percussionists. So when we test them, I can see if they can count rhythms already because they've been doing it for 9 weeks. I can see if they can count rhythms. I can see if they can identify note names. I can see those things. I have a kid or two on the fence when it comes to being what I need, but the majority, yes, I make sure they can do all the things that they're going to have to do before I let them on it.
So how does that work? So do they just pick another instrument for a while? Like who gives them that instrument, and then like what's the setup? I'll start flute, clarinet, alto, trumpet, and trombone. That's all we start.
Okay. That's smart.
And
then they just kind of branch off from there. Most of my baritones, well, now granted I start like 120 kids, so I have some options. But most of my baritones will be trumpets that just want to play trumpet, but they can't. Once we get to that F and G and they're having issues with that, I'll let them struggle for a week or so, throw a baritone in their hand, and they're like, boom, what'd you think? They go, oh, that's way better. Perfect. Fingers are the same. Here you go. So that's generally how I get the baritones. The tubas and the French horns audition and percussion auditions, and then the oboe. But that's how we do it. So they have to go through 9 weeks before they can even try percussion. That way I can see if they're paying attention. I can see if they can sit in a chair.
Right.
Like actually sit there and pay attention. I can see what their demeanor is, how they take criticism and instruction, and if they try or not. That's a big thing for me. Not just can you play. What do you like as a student is a big thing for me in percussion.
So Neil, do you start in 6th grade?
Yes.
Any other hot take percussion thoughts?
I mean, I think it's very similar to, mouthpiece tryouts in general. I always have kids and I tell them, tell me what your first pick is. Make a little wish list, if you will. And I do mouthpiece tryouts. I try to do as much as I can in my program student-led. So that's why the kids come down and do a recruitment concert for my 5th graders. And then I pull a lot of my leadership from the high school, and they come down and do my mouthpiece tryouts. I sit in the room, supervise. So I have them show me, okay, I'm a 6th grader. Tell me how to make a sound on the flute. And then they start troubleshooting. They learn how to do it. They give them a couple takes, and then we have a scoring guide that only we know how to read. So the kids aren't just like, I got a blah, blah, blah. But at the end, they'll come up to me, and I'll go, okay, what was your top pick? They'll say, saxophone. Okay, you made a pretty decent noise on saxophone, but you made a better one on the flute. I think you'd be really successful there. The same idea. When they try out percussion, if on the scoring, out of 5, they got a 2, I would say, I know your heart's really set on this, so I usually tell them, why don't we try this instrument for a while, and then we'll come back at another. Usually after the semester, they forget because they fall in love with the instrument they're on. But
That's awesome. Any other hot thoughts on percussionists? Do you cap it? Ooh, that's another one. Do we cap the percussion section? Like,
yes.
If they didn't join in 6th grade, are they allowed to start fresh in 7th or 8th grade?
Not really. But I did have one year that I start. If I have 120 kids, I'll start 12, maybe 14. But like I said, I also teach the drumline at high school, and we have 230 kids in the band, so I have to have a big drum line.
Yeah.
So I've got 40 percussionists at the high school. But I had one year that I started 12 kids, and when we came back, I had 4 because they had moved. They had done all kind of things, and I went, oh no. And so I had to go grab all the clarinets that wanted to play percussion the year before. I said, you're it. Come on. And I started from scratch. Like on day 1, I'm like, all right, here's 8 kids. Let's go again. Like that happened 2 years ago. And I was like, oh my gosh, what happened? That's never happened to me before. And it happened. It just, yeah.
Right.
So,
Yeah, because I have a kid right now who he was in the band last year in 6th grade. And he played clarinet, then he learned baritone, and then he didn't do band. And now his parents want him to get back in, but he only wants to play percussion.
yeah.
And I'm like, But like percussion has 8 kids in it already. Like, like part of me wants to tell him only mallets. Would you play just mallets? But then I feel like that's doing a disservice to the rest of him learning anything else. So I don't know.
That's one of those things that, especially if they were in band originally and then they quit and want to come back. I mean, I know it sucks, but it's one of those conversations of just, you know, like, in order for the whole band to succeed in the future, I cannot let you just play whatever you want, especially as a latecomer. So I'm thinking like contests, any kind of performances. We're hitting balance issues at that point. Or especially in percussion land, if you can't double the parts, especially on a melodic piece,
Right.
you know, you have kids just sitting there.
Yeah.
You know,
So
you can practice something in the meantime quietly, but
Yeah, I've got 14 drummers or 14 percussionists in my band of 75. And we're doing a lot of like, cool, you're going to help cover oboe parts. And I'm going to write you some. I mean, I normally will reach out to composers, or I'll just, if they're dead, I'm not going to offend them. I'll just write parts as needed. But I mean, I'll take timpani parts and add some tuba stuff that's in there because it's not going to hurt.
Right.
And it's, you know, could I have another percussionist physically in the space? Absolutely not. But if somebody wanted to, we would talk. I struggle kind of the opposite right now. We talked about this last night with like the numbers game is so huge. I'm one of those people that like my jazz band is no longer auditioned at the high school. Like if you want to learn, it's my job to teach you. That's kind of where I want it to be. Now you got to bring enough to the table to kind of match. You can't just have me do all the work for you and hope that you get better. But if they're willing to embrace the struggle and work really hard, I will be far more flexible with what instrumentation we have, and just kind of let, you know, build the plane as we crash it sometimes and hope that we at least come out with a boat by the end. So
my jazz band is come one, come all. I've got flutes, clarinet.
Yep.
I got an oboe in it this year. Like I just write the parts and go with it, and it's like whatever. There's like 40 kids in my jazz band, and just they're 7th and 8th graders, and I'm like, just come on, let's play. You want to play? Let's just play. Let's play.
Yeah, you got to be able to like play the instrument. That's my thing.
Yes.
Like you, I have 6th graders come in that want to be in the jazz band, and I'm like, all right, can you play the instrument? And then,
if you can hang, then you're in.
Exactly. Like I've had several kids like be like, absolutely, and typically their older brother or older sisters like, hey, you got to get in that jazz band, and they'll be like, this is what you have to do, and they'll give them all the tips in order to get them in the jazz band. So, someone just asked, how young do you start teaching band? So as we had some Mr. Landry, you start in 4th grade?
Yeah, we start in DeKalb County in Georgia. We start in 4th grade, so they can do band, and then I also teach string orchestra. So they start both of those in 4th grade. Now, like one school I'm at, I see them 2 days a week. Another school I'm at, I see them once a week. So the progress is a bit slower than coming from middle school. So I had to really pump my brakes going into that. Down in Florida, where I was, we didn't start till 6th grade. So
you're in DeKalb.
Yeah, I'm DeKalb.
Okay.
I'm in Dunwoody.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then who?
Gotcha.
Yeah, my district, they start in 4th grade. I don't teach them, someone else does, or 2 people do. They feed into me. But honestly, when I was in Virginia, we started in 6th grade, and I prefer it to be in 6th, maybe 5th is probably the youngest I would prefer, but only because I think with strings, like they have different sizes. I think for band, it's just one size fits all kind of thing. I just think it's kind of a lot for a 4th grader to be responsible for something that expensive, and that's probably my only concern. Are they able to play it? Probably. I've never taught 4th graders, so I don't have that experience. But I did teach 5th grade band, and it seems to work. But that's just I would prefer it to be 6th grade, just because of the value of the instrument and making sure it gets taken care of properly. But that's just my opinion.
Ms. Williams?
Did not mean to cut you short. I'm so sorry. That's a really good point. We start immediately in 6th grade, and understand that like some kids that are kind of, I don't want to say underdeveloped, but they're a little bit slimmer on the fingers, and so like necessarily when it comes to clarinet players, does anybody in here start on fifth or whatever, or who starts at the younger grade besides Mr. Who?
I do.
I start fifth graders. I start fifth
I was
graders.
gonna say we do fifth.
Okay, so
fifth
when
grade.
it comes to that, because I mean, like even when they're in the sixth grade, I mean, like some kids they're like really really skinny, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I ended up I have a clarinet player. There's nothing wrong with being skinny. But I have a clarinet player. I love her to death. But her fingers are just like really nimble or whatever. But I have already swapped her over to oboe, and she's more successful there. So, do y'all encounter those issues when you have students who like in those younger grades?
Sometimes,
even fifth grade, yeah.
So what
But I mean, we work through it with them because I mean they're passionate about wanting to play that instrument. So we work on hand positions. I have to be really diligent about okay, we got to cover these tone holes. You got to see the circles in the middle of your fingertips, and really making sure that they're on top of that.
Yeah, I had a really the smallest student I've ever taught. Like I could pick this girl up and toss her. She's so tiny. Like she comes up to me at school and I'm like, whoa, there you are. The tiniest thing in the world. And she wanted to play trumpet. And she really struggled to get sound out at the instrument petting zoo. And I was like, girl, are you sure you don't want to try something else? She's like, no, I'm playing the trumpet. I'm absolutely playing the trumpet. And she does great. She holds it very well, but she takes breaks. But she's a tiny little thing. But I actually recommended that her parents get her a plastic trumpet to practice with because it's so much lighter. And she was having trouble holding it up at first, but it's helped her get stronger. Like some kids just persevere through, and they like you could say, oh yeah, this is going to be hard for you. Oh, you have braces. Some kids that doesn't bother them at all. And
They'll find a way.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The younger, the two that I think of immediately are, like you said, clarinet. It's that left hand ring finger, but trombone. Sixth position it's only a like thoughts and prayers position. Like we think about it, it's there.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna be nowhere near it for the first year and a half. So you're at C-ish for a lot of it, like 3/4 sharp almost. So and then they can't even empty the spit valve. I got kids that kick it with their foot, and I'm like, please don't, just give it to me. I'll help you.
They bring it to their face and then they scrunch their knees, their shoe. Yep.
Yep. I'm trying to
we have pretty decent success by fifth grade. The most unique adaptation we had was we had a student that couldn't hold their trumpet up with their left hand because there was they had some kind of muscular issue. So we bought it was an ergo brass, but we had them try on cornet instead of trumpet because it changed where the weight was distributed, so it was more central. So they didn't have to worry as much with just the right hand. That was surprisingly, I mean, as a trumpet player, I always play cornet for my kids, so they sound nicer and softer and mellower. But that was the fifth grade was the biggest adaptation we had to make for that.
Yeah. I love beginners.
I have a question for y'all.
Go ahead.
I do too. Sorry. While I'm thinking about change topic, do you have a hard time, not a hard time, but trying to get your kids to grasp that you can do band and other things like sports? They come in to me and they're like, I'm gonna do band. I'm gonna play football next year, so I don't know if I'm gonna do band. I'm like, you've been in here for a week. You can play football. It's after school. Calm down. Like the two things are not. They're not intertwined. They're not intersecting. This is class. That's after school. Have fun. Play football. I did it.
So
it's okay.
100%.
I think I blame the parents.
Yep. So my kids will start tagging stuff if they think about it. But anytime the kid tries to throw any reason for not being able to do band, I'm immediately giving them the exact, like they're just like, I can't do it because of sports. Well, it happens during school. Well, I can't go to the concerts. Okay. Then I go, okay, when are the concerts? And they're like, well, I don't know. And I go, so you can't go to the concerts. It's just an excuse right now. So I just keep hitting them with stuff. But there was a school, and I totally stole the idea, but I did it with my district, where they posted, it was a You Can Do Both flyer.
Yeah.
And they took pictures of all of their students, like with their uniforms or whatever, sports equipment they use. And I did it for everyone in my program. And like the whole district was like, whoa, your kids are in everything. And they can actually do it. So those younger kids were all just like, man, I can play. volleyball, basketball, baseball, be in Stuco, do even like video game club, whatever have you, and play an instrument.
We did the same thing last year, and it was amazing to me that we had wrestlers and the whole gambit. And I'm the golf coach at my school. Like, I'm like, come play golf. I coach golf in the spring.
Yeah, my own son played football for our middle school this year, and there's always kids on the football team. There's always kids on the basketball team, volleyball. We've got it all. So, they can do it. It's really the ones that do these like hefty programs where they're traveling and, their parents have spent so much money on them. Like, it doesn't cost a cent to do sports in our school. But if you want to do a sport outside of school, it costs money. Where we are. Like my son played football this year, and he paid for like a couple items that he needed for his own self, but everything else was covered by the school. And this was the first time I even had a student, my own child play, so I didn't really know what it was like until my own kid did it. So, it doesn't, like, I try to make it the same way with band. Like, hey, you don't really have to pay for anything. Like, I'll help you out as much as I can. Which brings me to another question. How many of you guys have students playing on school-owned instruments?
Yeah.
More than their own instruments?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the biggest thing for my program was kids wanting to be in band, but I didn't have the inventory. So that was like my mission the past 3 years was to fundraise. But then you would get a quote from like Music and Arts, and every instrument's like over $1,000. So I have a friend that owns a music store in Virginia, and you can get a really decent like clarinet that plays similar to a buffet, but it's not a buffet, but it has the same body for $300. And so we're able to, buy all these instruments through them. But but my whole school is every year is the same. 47% of my students use school instruments.
I only rent the big ones. My kids rent all their instruments. But I mean, they rent them, I think it's probably $25 a month, maybe. But when they get the tuba or baritone or French horn, then they have my instruments, or oboe or bassoon.
That's what it used to be. When I first started, that's what it used to be for me too. But since COVID, it has definitely gone down to less people wanting to spend that money, unfortunately. And I don't know. We also got the Save the Music grant a few years ago. I don't know if any of your states have gotten that. Basically, they outfit you with a whole set of beginner, like for your whole school, basically.
Oh, nice.
And that was back in like 2017 that I got that. And they're all Bach-Selmer instruments. All Bach-Selmer starter instruments.
That's nice.
No, they're not. Like, they're actually falling apart.
The starter line, yeah.
The starter line, yeah.
But the fact that they're a consistent brand.
Yeah, it is. But like the lacquer's coming off all the trumpets, and the clarinets, just the screws are loose all the time. The Armstrong flutes are worthless. It's a little frustrating. I don't know if anybody else has any beef with Selmer, Bach-Selmer right now, but I'm struggling. Hey, Miss Lechner, welcome.
Hello. How are you all?
We're talking instruments in our inventory and how many students use school-owned instruments, I guess, compared to...
Oh, yeah, like at least half of them.
Yeah. I don't have the normal instruments. Like, I don't have any of them, really. I only have the big ones. No.
It depends on, like, I've been 2 different districts here in Georgia, like Douglas County and then DeKalb County, and they did like flossed tax, and like over a period of like 5 years, we got to order, what we needed for our programs, depending price wise, it was like $25K or $30K a year. And I did end up, when I was teaching middle school, I did end up buying like, 10 clarinets, 10 flutes, just different things. And I had a lot of kids on school-owned instruments because for where I was, a lot of that would be a barrier for them. Like now, I think I've got some kids on some school-owned cellos, school-owned basses, just like the bigger ones, and then tubas. But other than that, my current schools, everybody rents or just buys.
Interesting.
So you were in Douglas County.
I was.
You were.
Yeah, I was in Douglas County for about 8 years.
Nice.
And then since 2020, I've been in DeKalb County.
Miss Lechner, where are you from? I'm thinking you're in Illinois.
I was in Paulding for 10.
Am I correct? Where are
Very
you?
close. I'm in Wisconsin.
Okay.
I grew up in Wisconsin, and then I taught here my first year, and then I moved to Minnesota for 5 years. Like right before COVID started, taught there for my COVID years. And that was my first full-time job, I consider it. Like I taught 1 year in Wisconsin, but I was only 0.35% teaching band.
Oh.
And so I was just looking around for full-time jobs and found one over in Minnesota, and now I've been back in Wisconsin, so like the Madison area, for the past 3 years.
Excellent. Well, we have Wisconsin already filled in.
Ooh, heck yeah.
You are our third Wisconsin. You're our third Wisconsin director, so that might be our most directors we've had. Like, I feel like that's a big, that in Illinois, 2 Arkansas. Yeah, they were doing pretty good.
Okay, so here's a question for your northern band directors. Like, if you're outside, how many of your kids, like during the winter or like fall when it gets cold, how many of them play on like plastic mouthpieces versus metal?
Only my sousaphones.
Do they at all?
Nah.
I only do Sousas just because it's that amount of metal. It doesn't heat up quickly. And for a sousaphone, that's not going to make or break it. As a trumpet player, I have many thoughts about the plastic mouthpieces.
Yeah, right. They don't sound great.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
But I know, like, as a tuba player, when we played in really cold conditions, like, my lips would be just chapped red, like, all around, just because the mouthpiece was so cold.
It's been really cold here the past few years. I don't know, like, it doesn't get as cold. And also, our parade is one parade in the winter. So in middle school, we don't do much outside. That's
and I would say as middle school, we don't do much outside either. I think we do like I played in a Christmas outdoor parade where it was like on the back of a truck. But I played saxophone, so I don't have problems with that stuff. So I don't know.
I have loved the idea of playing on the back of a truck. Like, I can imagine that would be like weird, but middle schoolers marching is just not good.
No,
meandering, really.
It's not marching. They're just meandering. And
it's like hurting
we're getting down the street. And I wish we did the back of the truck, but there's too many of them, so I don't think I could do that. I have like 80 between 7th and 8th grade band, and I don't think we could fit 80 on the back of a truck. So
I had a 6.
Just got to get a bigger truck.
Get a U-Haul truck.
3D every brass mouthpiece.
Oh, they 3D printed them?
Speaking of, where's your 3D recorder, Miss Lecter?
Oh my
That was
gosh.
so cool.
Yeah. Well, first of all, speaking of like a 3D printed mouthpiece, I had a student when I taught in Minnesota. They had like a 3D printing project, so they 3D printed themselves a tenor saxophone mouthpiece. I did allow them to play it for class, but they could not play it for the concert. It was bright red. I was like, I hope you got an A on the project. Like, it sounds like a 3D printed mouthpiece. But I was like, unfortunately, you cannot play that for the concert. And they were like, but I'll play bass saxophone. And I'm like, close, yes. No, the 3D printed recorder is amazing. So it was really funny though how it was gifted to me is because we kind of have like a homeroom at the beginning of the day. And I go to my homeroom and then I like come back after the 30 minutes to my office, and it's just like laying on my desk with a note. So I just envisioned this like little baby 6th grader just like running in before school starts and like dropping his clarinet off and then like sprinting into like my office. And it was like using one of my sticky notes too, like from my desk, and like a pencil because he didn't put the stuff back. So it was like very sweet, but like then all of a sudden like jumbled on my desk, and I was like, okay, I can like see the storyline play out here. But But yes, then he came in later to double check that I got it, and I like showed it to the whole class and everything. But when I showed it to the class, I was like, okay, guys, I was like, this is a one-of-a-kind gift. Like, I didn't have to pay for this, but the student might, like, he might be taking commissions after this. So, like, you got to open up those piggy banks. I don't know what his rate is, but, like, just so you know, this might become a hot commodity. And then I showed it to them. I plays pretty good, like, a B-flat major scale. I only have to half hole like 2 of the notes to actually get it on.
Someone in the chat has asked, do you ever have students crying?
Yes.
Sometimes, yeah.
My first year as a music teacher, and I will never forget this because I have it imprinted on the back of my mind. So I was like, okay, y'all, we're going to play our scale test, okay? Concert B-flat scale, whatever, you can't look, okay? So my kids are like freaking out. I'm like, I don't know why we're freaking out, but hey, whatever, practice. So I get to this one girl, and she is the sweetest thing she can be. She can now like play past a G, or not a G, like a high D on her baritone. So she's a wonderful player. But I was like, okay, it's your turn. I said, now mind you, if you stop and ask me to start over, I'm deducting points. And she's like, okay. So she was like, all right, I'm ready. I'm like, okay, I'm ready when you are. Bum, 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 bum. I'm like, okay, where's the rest of it? She's like, can I start? I was like, okay, whatever, fine, cool. So she starts over, bum, 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 bum. And then I look down, and I was like, okay, well, you know, she gives some points off. And I look up, and she's in tears. And I'm like, I don't remember this being a part of my student teaching. So I'm like, I said, she's like, I'm okay. I said, I don't believe it. I said, you know what, just put your baritone down, and we're going to try again tomorrow, okay? And she's like, yeah. And then she had a whole breakdown. So that was the first time I've ever seen somebody had a breakdown on the concert B-flat scale.
So
she ended up playing it. So.
I want to piggyback off of that, but also bring up what was said at the very first question of this whole thing, because it kind of made me think about it. But at the beginning of this year, I don't know if anyone else experiences this at the beginning, especially you middle school directors, where a lot of them haven't touched that instrument in 3 months. And then they get super stressed out when they get back, no matter how you want to start out the year. So I told them, I was like, let's do a boot camp. Mm-hmm. Let's review the B-flat scale. I'm going to teach it as if you're 6th grade again. So I had so many kids either tell each other or come up and tell me, they're just like, man, I just don't know if I want to do band anymore. It just seems stressful. It seems like this. And just because boot camp. And I go, okay, well, we got to review the basics before we dive into things. Well, one day I just felt there were so many of them stressed out. Like I heard there was tears flying, everything. So what I did is whatever I had planned that day, don't even remember, I gave them all a little slip of paper. And they're like, what do we do with this? I said, do not write your name. They said, okay. And I said, write down the reason that you joined band or the reason you are still in band. And it goes back to the beginning where it's like, are you a band director, or like, what's a good term? And then that's where we mentioned coach, you know, and just coaching them to have a better thing. So anytime we have a bad day, I kept those papers. I will pull like 5 to 10 of them out and just read like, why did you do band? Why are you still doing it? So it's just like especially on the days that they're very upset or stressed out, like we'll just stop and we'll just talk about it.
That's pretty cool.
I love that. Speaking of, you were mentioning in our group chat about your Secret Santa thing. What is this all about?
So one of the things we wanted to focus on with my high schoolers this year, and I think I got my freshman percussionist in the comments here. We really wanted to focus on culture this year. When I first got to this program, we had our conference band with all the other schools in the area, and we did a band tour. And on the first tour of the year, we stopped at my school, and some kids from our school were booing because the culture was just so bad at my district with band. So now year 4, and I was like, let's just really amp it up. So they're always come up with different culture building activities. So our Secret Santa is just a thing that one of my seniors said, hey, White, if I organize a Secret Santa, can we do it? I was like, a culture building activity I don't have to plan? Absolutely. So she called it Secret Bandta, and she gave everyone a questionnaire. And out of the 38 kids I have at the high school, she got 35 of them to sign up and do it. I really didn't think it was going to fly off, but it did. So everyone's super excited about it. She's bringing in a little tree for the room, and she just gave us a little questionnaire. What are your interests? Anything you collect? Just your typical things. But it was one of my kids just organized it and assigned it to everyone.
That is awesome. Very cool.
We do one every year,
Welcome,
and
Rick.
it's awesome.
Rick,
yeah.
we finally have a full 9 square. We finally have the Brady Bunch here. Welcome, Rick.
Thank you. I may not be long. We've got kids going to sleep, and as soon as my wife comes downstairs, Stranger Things is going on. So
I haven't started watching it yet.
We have priorities tonight. So,
so someone said, "Do band teachers ever cry?"
Yes.
Oh yeah. It may not be in front of you, but we cry.
The right time of month. I mean,
I cried during band camp because I didn't know how to put together sound system stuff on my own for the first time, and I was trying to get sound. I was trying to show this kid who wants to be a director, who is going to be my sound system engineer, could not get sound out of the speaker. I had a full-on crash out after he left. And then as I'm driving back the next day, I'm like, I switched these 2 cables on accident. I finally went there, plugged it in, 15-second difference. I got sound. He got there. I was like, dude, I got sound. Listen, I got sound. And he's just like, okay, are you good? I was like, yeah, I did it. After crying for about an hour.
I mean, let me tell you, the amount of times that like I have felt like, why don't I know how to do this? And I'm in front of the kids and I'm just like a mess. And then when I finally stopped like trying to know everything in front of the kids and then just go, guys, I don't know what I'm doing here. Like, I don't know what this is. I'm really struggling. Just they don't teach us everything. Like when I changed my perspective from thinking I had to know it all to I really don't know everything, I became such a better teacher. It was amazing. Less tears for me anyway.
I don't know the answer, but I'll learn with you is one of my phrases I've said before.
It's like bassoon fingerings.
How many thumb keys?
Right.
Yeah. Google's my best friend.
Have you ever had anybody break an instrument in front of you on purpose?
No.
Not
But
on
let me
purpose.
explain this story right here. So it's percussion class. I have my classes split up.
I gotta
into,
run.
Bye, Neil.
All right, bye, Neil.
But I have my classes broken down into their specific instruments. So I have woodwinds, 4th, 5th. It's like percussion or whatever. So percussion class comes, and we're like preparing for our Christmas concert. It's a mixture of 7th and 8th graders. And so I'm like, okay, hey, so you're going to be on chimes, tubular chimes. Now it wasn't on purpose, granted, but to me in the moment, it was, and it was really bad. So I'm like, hey, can you like move the tubular chimes closer to the snare and the bass drum because you're a little bit too far off to the right and your back is turned to me. I don't know how you're going to see me conducting and you're hitting nails, okay? So he's like, yeah. So I look down for 5 seconds and I look up and I'm talking to Bells over here and the next thing you know, all I hear is the tubular chimes go down like this and it fell on the floor. So now granted, he didn't do it on purpose. But it was not a happy day in that room. It was very quiet. It was almost similar to a funeral. And my kids were just like, well, you want us to, I was like, don't even say anything. They're like, you're right. You're right. So he didn't do it on purpose, but it does happen. And
Oh yeah.
it sucks. But so it's fixed now, but it was terrible.
Oh.
I did just have a kid get a brand new alto sax 2 weeks ago. And she came into the middle school office right before jazz band, just bright red in tears, snot running, just awful, because she thought she had broken her saxophone. The neck wouldn't stay in. The screw should go this way, and she put it this way. And she was like, I feel like she was afraid she was going to jail and mom was going to disown her and whatever. And I just went, hold on here. I grabbed a tissue, wiped the mascara, was like, go play the Grinch now. Have fun.
Oh my gosh. One time I had a kid, the saxophone, they were trying to play their saxophone, but they couldn't like something was wrong with it. And I was like, what do you mean something's wrong with it? I was like, everything looks fine. And then that furry thing that they put in it, like the cap had come off, which it does all the time. And they just put their neck on. I was like, you forgot to take out your furry thing. Like,
well, that leads to, what's the best thing you've ever pulled out of an instrument that shouldn't have been there?
A minifig?
A fidget dinosaur.
Banana.
I got an umbrella.
Banana. I've got a banana and a tuba. Yep.
Like
an umbrella and little, like the collapsible one, but I had a Barry sax player.
Oh, okay.
That came up to me and said, I don't know why it's not making sound. The funny part is I put the umbrella there apparently, but it slid. Things fell off of a stand in the stands one night, and it fell in. He goes to jazz band the next day and goes, I don't know what's wrong with it. He tries playing it. I try playing it. It sounds comically bad. And so I take my leak light, I take my flashlight, and then I look down and I just pull the umbrella out and go, fixed. Now we don't put umbrellas near saxophones.
It's always the freaking saxophones. And
yes.
I am one. So
maintaining expectations is totally fine.
Why?
A story from high school. So this wasn't breaking an instrument, but like I will vividly remember this. It was one of 2 times my band director pulled all of us in at high school. There's like 200 of us, tried to fit us into the band room, and we had to come to Jesus. And he said that he would quit and go work on the farm if we ever did this again. He had these 2 boys beefing. One of them was a trombone in my section, and the other was our bassoon player. And the school had just got a new bassoon. Like, we're talking, like, not plastic either. Like, wooden bassoon, nice everything. The trombone player was mad at him. So what he did is he went to breakfast, got a milk, and poured it all over inside the case. And my director said, whoever did it, own up, because I'm telling you right now, I will quit this job right here, right now, and go work on the farm.
Is that child still alive? Are they with us today? Or
I honestly haven't seen him in the last couple of years, so possibly not. But
yeah, no one needs a chocolate flavored vocal. Like, that's just not it.
Wait, I wasn't even eating chocolate, man. Straight up white 2% milk.
Oh my gosh, that is crazy. So we were talking about some hot takes earlier, and since I think a lot of us are middle school people, but do we think as band directors that do we have to be able to play all the instruments?
To make a good sound, to demonstrate, yes.
Depends on that.
You need to be able to play, in my opinion, you need to be able to play at a second-year player level on everything, or at least be able to coach it and correct it. Because
I think
you
more
need
importantly,
the struggles they're going through physically.
You need to know your limits too, because kind of here and here, you need to demonstrate with a good sound. If you can't, then pull out your primary, sing it, do something different, because it's far better for the student than it will ever be for your own ego to say, oh, I played that. In what way?
No,
I mean, I know my limitations. There are certain instruments I will not touch with 8th grade, and I never play for my high school. I mean, Rick, I don't know if you really play trumpet with your kids at all. Like, maybe I'll pull it out once in a while, but like I mostly sing at them or say, I want this to sound like melted peanut butter. Go. And I would rather give them that than try and demonstrate and have it go poorly.
Yeah, I definitely play trumpet all the time, or as much as I possibly can. You don't want to hear me play flute. You don't want to hear me play most of the woodwind instruments. I can take out all the brass stuff and be pretty decent, except for tuba. There's just something about tuba that I just can't get that sound out, but then I'll just play it on euphonium or I'll transpose it. But I usually try to get at the high school level, I try to get my like seniors, my tri-M kids, I try to get them to help the kids that are beginning. And let them demonstrate their sound. And then I try to give as many examples, like who should they be listening to for a good tone. Right. And then just give them as many, like, you know, whatever songs we're playing, how many different recordings of that can I find, and just post them on Google Classroom and just go listen. But I don't try to like play the flute in front of like my top flute players because they're lucky if I can get a B flat scale out.
No, the goal should 100% be that your kids should be better than you.
Yeah.
Except for your primary instrument.
However, I will say, my first year of teaching, my students made me better at trumpet because I had these 8th grade girls, and they like, it was my first year teaching ever, and they like made fun of me for not being able to play the trumpet. And I was just like, okay, sounds good. Like, we're doing lip slurs in class. I'm going to do them as I recommend to you, like every single day as we come in. And slowly, like it was up until Christmas, then I started being able to do more lip slurs than they were able to. And I was like, I'm practicing them every day.
Right.
Why are you not getting better? Why am I getting better than you? And granted, thank you for making me better and challenging me. But also now your 8th graders, you going to high school, should be able to do more than I can.
Roasted.
You are practicing the same much as me, then like we would kind of be moving at that pace.
Yeah, I think every year I try to pick an instrument, and like just to relate to your trumpet story, like they're freshmen now, but I told them in 6th grade, it's like, you know, guys, I'm letting you know I'm going to be focusing on trumpet this year. It is what it is, but you know, I'm trying. I want you to try too. Right. And then in 8th grade, I mean, like, I'm good now. I've actually upgraded my trumpet. I have like a silver, like, I don't know, it's a Bach or whatever now. But anyways, they were like, one time I played like the concert F scale, you know, go up to the high G, and I played it for them. And then all the trumpet players got up. They're like, Miss Gates, you've gotten so much better. Like, good for you. Like, and it was fun. Like, but we made it like part of the culture to like uplift people and, you know, let them know, like, I know you're going to end up playing this better than me, but that one day they were so proud. So,
I really struggled with, I really struggled with percussion at the beginning. And I felt like I could not play percussion in front of the students. Like, I felt negative learning of percussion when I was in college. I learned, but I just couldn't do it. And it wasn't until probably 10 years ago that I was like, I actually had to just start going back and playing with kids because they were bad. And I was like, at least I'm better than they are, I guess. And and I had to help them get better. And then I was like, okay, I'm not so bad at this. Like, I can do this. Now I'm playing drums on my podium with them, like keeping beats with them and everything. And it's better. But I was really a bad percussionist at the beginning. And I do think that the guy I taught with at first, because I was an assistant band director, a full-time assistant, and then I taught with a head band director. And he gave me some advice that I didn't understand at the time. And it's contrary to what Mr. White is saying. He said, you said earlier, you said your kids should be better than you. That's the goal, right? And I see that now. But he told me in that moment, he said, you should be the best musician in the classroom. And I took that, I should be able to play everything. And that's not what he meant.
Yeah.
He meant like you should just know everything. And I was like, and so my literal mind definitely thought, oh my gosh, I don't know it all. And but it took me a while to get to that point. But I love that what you said, that yes, they should be better than us, and that's the goal. Absolutely.
My percussionist is bringing up in the comments, like, because like you're talking and I'm like, I 100% this is me. And I kind of want to get takes on this at some point. It doesn't have to be today, but teaching during COVID for you all, because I was in college. I was finishing my sophomore year. I did my proficiency exam, my sophomore exam, everything for trombone online, including a percussion class. I actually had to do my timpani exam on pillows, and I got points taken off for tuning. So, yeah. So percussion, I only learned in class bells and snare, and then everything auxiliary, drum set, timpani was online.
And it's only an hour a week. I mean, that's the way mine was. We had it for an hour a week. But Ms. Williams, you were going to say something about playing instruments?
Now, when I was student teaching, it was a goal of mine because my band director was the same way. Like during my student teaching, I made it a goal to make sure I knew how to play every single instrument, and not in the sense every single one, but the most common instruments in band, Now, granted, was I the best? No. Now, when it comes to tuba, I'm sorry. Like I tried, my little lungs will blow up. The flute was worse. Let me tell you something. I literally passed out in class. Like I was like, yeah, y'all, yeah, and that was it. But like I can play any instrument that's being given, and it kind of encourages my students, especially my trumpet players and my low brass specifically, is that I do those like lip slurs. I'm like, okay, y'all, with these long tones, let's do these lip slurs, or I don't even have to look at the page, and that also causes them to be like, okay, well, if she can memorize it, I can too. And it's a lot of things that if you do in practice, your students will see that, and they're gonna want to be what you are, which is the adult in the room, which is the better musician per se. Not tuba though. I cannot. Like y'all gotta understand, tuba is like but like it just really encourages me to like continue to get better on those instruments such as trumpet, trombone, even though trombone's also in the same boat as tuba. But like my students also see that I'm trying, and they're like, well, if she's trying, I can try a little bit more to get up to her level. And that kind of like puts a little sunshine in my pocket to just realize like, okay, what I'm doing is working, and y'all are seeing what I'm doing, y'all are understanding, and y'all are applying it, which is great. So I don't know, I think it's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's vulnerability, right? You're being vulnerable in front of your students. Say, hey, like I'm not playing this great, but like I'm being vulnerable here. And so when we go do those playing tests, whether or just asking them to play like a section, hey, saxophones, play this for me so I can hear it. Like it's not like it's like both ways. Like there's times where like Miss Gates played really well, or sometimes she didn't play well. It's like it's kind of like a give and take, which makes it more like collaborative rather than like thinking so much of all the errors, right? Because someone mentioned earlier about like success, like your students should have a one moment, whether it be a little nugget or a big milestone of success. So I think there's just one way to show it.
So we could do we listen and we don't judge here if you want to, or you can totally judge me. But when I teach tuba, I read from the trumpet book.
Oh,
I think that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, the fingerings are mostly the same.
So
because I can't read tuba music.
I've never thought of that before.
So
it's a lot of ledger lines.
So smart.
Yeah, ledger lines.
Anytime that I need a fingering, there's an app called Fingerings, and it has every single instrument's fingering. It has alternate fingerings in there. It has chromatic, but I have it downloaded on my phone, especially in a pinch, like if we need something alternate. But it is an app called Fingerings. I think it has like a grayish background, and you can pull up anything for it. So that's what I use. But I mean, a similar scenario is I'm not counting these ledger lines.
We have a tuba player, Mr. Landry. You played tuba, right? Yep.
Yeah, I'm a tuba euphonium player, so I grew up doing that. But yeah, I mean, as what we were saying, as like they need to see us struggle too. They need to see us practice. They need to see what that looks like. We're not flawless. We're not perfect. I mean, we all go to professional development. We're all trying to get better. Like they need to see that kind of stuff. I mean, I tell my kids I'm not arrogant enough to think I know everything. I mean, I've been doing this longer than you've been alive, but I still practice.
Yeah, we were playing something one day, and I was playing with them, and I was like, "Let's do that again for me."
Right.
Yeah.
I want to get better at that.
A fun challenge that I do. Yeah, I'll ask the kids like, "What instrument do you want me to grab today?" And that's the only instrument I'm allowed. So if it's like they know trumpet is my primary, but I can gaslight them hard into not realizing it. I mean, I have a trumpet tattoo, so that's not helpful. But I can gaslight them hard if they pick clarinet and saxophone. No offense, Miss Lechner. But
we play. We have a circle day. When it gets close to the concert, everybody sits in the circle, and then you sit next to someone who doesn't play your part. Or it's the same instrument as you. And so I wait till everybody's seated, and then I see who's there, and I'm like, all right, what instrument should I play that's not seated? It's a clarinet and the trumpet's there. I got to play something else. And I'll play with them. I don't even conduct that. And they love picking my instrument. They're like, oh, play the French horn, play the tuba. And so that's always a lot of fun. And we switch every song, but that's a great technique to use. Like once the kids can make it through every song, I love doing that. So
this may be a little bit off subject, but going back to what Mr. White was saying about the fingering stuff. So there's this app called Fingerings and Tunings, and that's very embarrassing. Where you can just like pick on any instrument or whatever, and it'll show it like all the pitch tendencies and everything, or which rides sharp or flat. So this is a great source Now it costs some money. It costs some money, but it's worth it.
What's it called?
My God, I forgot.
Send
that
a
quick.
screenshot to the group chat.
Yeah.
All right, there we go.
I don't know if we can put pictures in that group chat or not, but we find the name of it. That would be great.
Okay.
All right, I'll put it in
We'll
there.
find out.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
Well, I think also some of that, like when you're in college, like the way things were set up for you guys, we had like a brass methods class and we had a woodwind methods, and you'd have like one or two instruments you would spend time on. And then, of course, you would learn about the others and stuff. But some friends of mine that were band directors before me, I remember one of my high school directors said that he had to spend a semester on like trombone and a semester on trumpet. And it was like, I think you were stacking multiples. And that seemed like, I mean, yeah, you're going to learn the instrument really well. But I think for me, I didn't really start really learning the instruments and stuff until I had to teach them. Like when I started teaching beginners, then it was like, all right, here we go. Because, you're doing all that stuff. And, when you're in student teaching, it's like Disneyland. You're not having to do a lot of those things. And then suddenly it's like, all right, now I got to figure this out.
Well, not at my school, but at WVU, at West Virginia University, I didn't go there, but I had friends that went there, and they all had to play in a lab band with a secondary instrument.
Okay.
So, which I think is super beneficial. I think that is huge. Like to be able to perform on an instrument you didn't grow up playing. Like I think that's huge. And I think all colleges need to do something similar to that.
That's what I ended up.
I'm actually. Go ahead.
First couple years of teaching, I joined a community band, and I was like, "Why am I playing saxophone? I just played why am I doing this? This is boring." So let me play French horn and sit next to this wonderful 76-year-old farmer who also plays French horn, and he can tell me all the things he's learned throughout his life about French horn, and I can just take notes.
Oh, that's cool.
See how to get the spit out and find where it's located French horn. But then thinking about that, I'm like, gosh, I wish that my college did that for at least 1 or 2 semesters that I was in band because they knew I was a music ed major. Forced me to not do my primary instruments.
So I went to the University of Central Missouri, and towards the end, we had our symphonic band, and I actually, after my methods classes, did that ensemble. I played euphonium and wind ensemble. And then in the secondary ensemble, 1 year I was alto sax. Right before COVID hit, I was going to do percussion, and then COVID hit, so I got out of it. And then after that, I did bassoon, just because I really liked it, and I wanted an opportunity to challenge myself and play it. But no, it's definitely one of those things. It helped a lot as I got.
I really feel like that colleges, instead of preparing us to be teachers, it's more about us being in their bands. It's like winning some band competition that we're not even competing.
I'm teaching a brass methods class at a college this semester, and so we've changed the format. It used to be get to the best playing you possibly could. We now spend the last 20 minutes of it is open question time and unsolicited life advice about band directing. Hey, here's reality as opposed to what you've been told this whole time. So when you have that kid that's stuck, growling as if he's, whatever on this instrument, but it's a choice. How do you actually deal with that as opposed to, brass ped deal with that? So classroom management, stuff like that I just tell them every class you have to have at least 3 questions. And we round table chat. And I ask them, what are you observing out in other classrooms? I really wish that we had the ability to take a day off and go observe other teachers. I'd drive out to West Virginia. I'd see you. That'd be fun.
That is the nice thing about us being a 4-day week.
Yeah.
Mondays, I've gone to observe teachers.
Nice.
Yeah, I should just put you on, you could just watch through Zoom or something someday in my classroom if you want to.
You're offering, but I would do that.
So something that I thought it would be a good question for us, something you were surprised about teaching that just wow, I can't believe that I do this, or that, oh, this is way more than I thought it was going to be. And I'll start. So the thing that I think this was because I loved band and I picked things up pretty quickly, but I was really surprised how much I was going to have to reteach things all the time. And and that was just for me, like, because like I said, I picked things up. I didn't learn to count very well, so I made sure they all learned how to count really well, because I didn't learn to count until I got to college. So, but that was surprising to me. So, what was surprising to you guys?
For me, I think it was oh, go ahead. The physical.
I gotta figure out how I want to word it.
The physical labor, I think, was. I mean, I'm 5'2", and I'm just not strong. Okay, I'm just not. And the Wagner chair, they're heavy, like carrying speakers for like jazz or whatever, like the carrying the larger instruments, because
don't do it. Get someone else to get the kids to do it. You're back. You have one back.
Yeah, and they do. But I mean, you're talking about the beginning of our teaching, right? So I didn't realize, like how much. Oh, my voice. How much, how things are heavy. Yeah. Things are heavy, and I think, and of course, now that the kids set up, the kids tear down, all that stuff. But in the beginning, you learn and you live and learn. But I just didn't realize how it all, like concert nights. Whoo. Too much.
I think for my student teaching, when I got observed, one of their only comments was an example. It was just an example of classroom management. There was a kid in my 7th grade band who was on their phone, and they just made a comment like, "Hey, make sure that you're working on that." And I just thought it was kind of crazy, because when I was in school, I graduated high school in 2018. So if my director wasn't working with me, I was on my phone. But the second he was like, trombones, immediately got put down. So I think going into teaching, I was not prepared as much on classroom management in week 1. So luckily my district, so Missouri recently passed their no phones in schools, but we've had no phones since I started there. So I've never had to deal with it. It's been really nice. But my student taught, they teach you some strategy, like the safe seat, for example. And I was like, oh, I'm too cool for school, teacher. I'm never going to use those things. Or the check mark system when a kid's acting up. And I found myself letting a lot of tiny behaviors slide by until eventually they started avalanching more. And I was going home overstimulated every single day. So eventually just putting my foot down, I think, was the hardest realization, is that we can have chaos, but it has to be controlled chaos.
That's growing up.
Oh, yeah. I would say the thing I didn't realize is the amount of administrative paperwork that I would have to do, from planning budgets to setting trips to just all that kind of stuff. And I can't stand paper. Inventory. Yeah. You're responsible for, $500,000 worth of equipment or whatever, and you got to keep up with it, and you got to have it serviced, and all the things. Yeah, that was a big shocker.
Mine is kind of the.
We lost you. Oh no!
So for real. All right, I'm
there we go.
Was the culture shock of coming from student teaching and going straight into the classroom, and I think y'all have already kind of touched bases on this, where necessarily we're put in this situation where everything is perfect. You're going to a school. The teachers have already communicated with the students hey, we're having a guest over, necessarily don't act silly. So it's just we're given this picture perfect, this is what a classroom is, and it's not. And it varies from, district to district, school to school. And I was just in a rude awakening. And I love my students. There's nothing wrong with my district at all. That's not what I'm saying. But it's just how significantly drastic it was. It just changed. It was so much going on at one time, and I was overstimulated half the days. And all of what y'all have already mentioned was just a big old compile of that, And so I would say that my biggest problem was that sometimes I tend to speed run through a lot of stuff. And with that speed running, I would want it to be perfect at every given second. And I had to come to a realization of that with my last month of my first year of teaching, was that that's not possible. And I'm a perfectionist, and that tends to be the worst thing of all to be, is a perfectionist. So it's a lot that I learned my first year, and all of what y'all discussed is really everything that happened. So I don't know. I hope that made sense. If not, throw a rock at me.
Absolutely. No rocks. No rocks. Anyone else? What were you surprised about?
I would say I'm actually surprised at how, this is going to sound very like doom and gloom, but how lonely the profession can be. Which, like, I appreciate that. I mean, kind of what we're doing here, which is no matter what, the imposter syndrome, the perfectionism, as much as we love our kids, when they fire some of it right back at us, like, are we failing them is the biggest fear. And I tell my kids, that's my biggest fear in life. Am I failing you? Because if so, then not only am I not doing my job, I don't want to kill your love for music or what we do or anything there. But when you, especially like those of us that are one of a few teachers, I teach 6 out of 8 of the grade levels we have in band. Now I'm lucky enough. My wife is our middle school choir director. She's my assistant band director. So like we actually do get to see each other. And we share a lot of kids and we do all that. But then outside, with everybody being as busy as we are, like, this is kind of the chance we get for people that are actually in the know. So it's a surprisingly lonely profession. I know this is such a super happy topic at 9:05, but like,
I mean, yeah.
But on the flip side, how important having your community can be. I mean, we have our county system is 8 different schools. We're all technically different counties because we're this part of Pennsylvania. So we have a large group, and we get together for our county band, and we're just as bad as our kids. We're having fun. We're laughing. We're hooting, hollering. Like, and I walk away smiling. Last night, I was smiling after this for like an hour and a half. I'm like, man, it's so good to hear other people that care as much, that like want to do all the things, but also at the end of the day, come home and like, we don't even have enough energy to make that extra cup of coffee.
Right.
So like,
and
that
spouses are tired of hearing us like yap about the.
But it's something that I think is not highlighted on in other necessarily parts of the teaching profession. I mean, our work never leaves us. Look at us right now. It's 9:06. It never leaves us. It is unfortunately part of our identity, but very fortunately part of our life. So I think that's something that needs to be said more to people of, yes, it is a choice and you need to be going into it for the right reason.
Oh yeah.
And then find your people, find your section, find your everyone.
I think the younger generation, like you guys that have graduated recently and stuff, you guys do a really good job of like setting boundaries a lot of times, like, and just like pushing that and like, okay, this is where end of the day is my end of my day, or, whatnot. Like, I mean, I'm a little older. I'm 40. I graduated in high school in 03. But like back then it was like you didn't miss things. Like I went to rehearsals. I had the flu. I'm a color guard person. So I also performed in a show like, I had the flu, I performed, I went back to sleep and came back up. And like, you guys use your sick days, your personal, which is good. But like having that community, like you said, outside, I mean, finding that and something to do outside of it helps it to not be so lonely, like finding a performing group, or for me, it's like my gym community that I go to like after school, and like that helps me a lot. But yeah, when you're like one of one in a school, like it's tough. They have like PLC meetings and you're like, no one else teaches what I teach.
Leftovers. It was ag, it was us, it was photography, it was the leftover crew, or the misfit toys.
I feel that hard because at my school in Minnesota, we're just like all very small districts all spread over. Like you were either teaching 6 through 12 band, or there was one middle school band director, one high school band director. And that's a reason why I moved back to Wisconsin, is because I was like, oh, there's just more people within the school district. It's slightly larger. So now there's 2 band directors at the middle school that I work with, myself and then my co-teacher. And I do 6th grade mostly, and then he does 7th and 8th grade, but we team teach a lot of everything. And I was like, that just feels nicer in that larger community, because then we kind of have more. But back to the original question of, was something that you like didn't realize you'd have to do. I was trying to think of how to like phrase this very nicely. But I didn't realize how it like kind of goes with it, right? We're talking about community and like, like-minded people and stuff like that. And we love working with like-minded people, and also people who challenge us too. But I didn't realize that like I would have to teach kind of with like other core teachers and go to like staff meetings with them. Because man, do they bother me in staff meetings. I'm just like, don't you guys like know how to like, I feel like as band people, we're just like very like, there's like we do things in order all the time. Like there's always something to be doing as well. Maybe that's just me.
You're right.
But yeah, with other like teachers, I'm just like, man, like we could be like more considerate for others, or like, does this have to be like, could this be an email type of a thing? Like all those, and I'm just like, oh man, like
I have had to learn not to roll my eyes so much.
Yeah. I think I'm currently learning that because I want to roll my eyes a lot, and I think I'm currently in my stage of learning how to hold back on those feelings.
Yeah, it's still a team too. Like you still have to work with those people because, like, I'm like, hey, I need to pull that kid out because I need to do something with that kid. So I have to, I have to get along with everybody, and that's tough at times too when you're like, hey, you're not doing your job.
Right, it's frustrating when I feel like I am working really well with someone, but then I feel like they're not contributing enough, like, back. And I, like, keep the giving, and then I get really frustrated with that. I'm just like, aren't we on the same team? Like, we should be if you don't think that we're on the same team. Right. And I think that's one thing I was like, I've just been thinking about that a lot recently.
Excellent. Fix your face. Yeah. Oh, I have a horrible poker face. Oh my gosh. It's everything. Kids know when something's wrong. Like in the band, they're like, that was bad, Miss Allen, because you look. I'm like, yes, it was very bad. Let's do it again. I have all my hot takes that we've gone over. So if anybody else has any hot takes or conversation starters, feel free.
Do you want to hear a very funny? So this is one of I do like a 10 things about Mr. White every time I meet kids. So now it's just 5th grade, but when I first got there. And one of them was, it's always number 7. I don't know why I pick it as 7, but it's $2,304. And they have to guess what cryptic message that is about me. And it's always the last one they get. But it is because I broke my 2 front teeth when I was 10. And then I broke them again when I was 19 in college. So it's just one of the things like when kids come to talk to you about, like, oh, I just got braces, or, oh, this is happening. And it's like, hey, I can actually relate to that because I had to completely relearn how to play.
Wow.
Speaking of that, so when I was in 8th grade, I ended up having Bill Posley, where like half of my face just went limp out of nowhere. And so how it happened was we had band camp coming up, and I was like, okay, I'm going to practice. And so when I put my clarinet together, and I was like, okay, here we go. I said, something's not right here. And so ended up finding out that I had Bill Posley, and I had to like relearn how to play my instrument, which was kind of cool but scary at the same time. But it also like proves tenacity for my students to understand that like there's nothing that's impossible for you to do. You know what I'm saying? And so the only thing that's impossible is when you put that barrier in front of you saying you can't do it, And so that is something that I do pull out my back pocket. And when my students get frustrated of like, oh, well, I can't play this passage, or, oh, I can't do this. And then it's just like, there's things in life that you can like really like apply to your playing that you've done before where you said you couldn't do it, but you can. So yeah. Also another thing, did you ask Santa for your 2 front teeth? Right. I mean, that could have been free. That could have been free.
No,
that could have been so free.
No, but what's funny is the second time I broke them when I was 19, it was on Halloween.
Oh.
I was running the bake sale for Finding Alpha. I was the treasurer at the time for our chapter. And I got one of the Oreo balls. I bought it. I was like, oh, it's like a bite. And I was like, man, this is crunchy. And they broke the same way. So it was like this like a gap there. And I actually went into the dentist office. And like, I don't know if you can tell yet from the couple lives we've had or my videos, but I cope with humor. So I walked into the dentist office. I look at the secretary. I'm like, hey, it's Halloween. I really wanted to go as a vampire this year, in case you can't tell by the teeth. I changed my mind. I actually think I want to be a werewolf. So is there any way we could get these fixed? Because I really tried to commit to the bit, but I changed my mind.
Oh my gosh. That is horrible. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I do have a question. Do you guys have trouble, or are you just blessed by the hands of God to have a sub that can do your job when you're not there?
Oh, I am blessed. I shouldn't talk. I am. We have some retired teachers who just recently within the last 5 years retired from teaching in our district, and so they're still around and kind of willing to help out. So I shouldn't say much, but it's very nice. When they're not available, then it's but I teach the students how to teach the class then. So
that's what I was going to say. So yes and no. I had one sub who had some music background, so she would just kind of let the kids practice, and if it was getting ridiculous, she's like, hey, I know you know how to play this because I played. But recently, I took off a day. And I was like, I just want to take a day off. It's been the first one all year. I left all of my stronger kids or kids that want to be directors a checklist. And I said, when you think it's done to my liking, check it off. But before that, had lessons, how do you teach? Or when they're in 6th grade, I took the idea from a drum major audition where you had to identify errors. So it's the end of the school year. We're playing through our music, and on the board, they wrote 3 different things that they could do wrong, like clarinets squeak the whole time, or trumpets play E natural instead of E flat, or what have you. And then I would stand on the podium and try to guess what the error was. And then the next day I had them do that. I would write errors with a kid on the podium. Okay, you have to guess what they're doing wrong to help them for those days.
Yeah.
So ultimately I leave a checklist and most of it gets done. It's actually a productive day for them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've got a couple of project specs just in the back of my mind. We do I make them pick one piece that I'm going to buy to just keep in our library. So they have to kind of analyze it on anywhere from 5 to I've done up to 10 different categories, ranking it, justifying it, but they have to look at I think 6 pieces and they pick one, and whichever one is the class winner I buy for our library. And sometimes we've programmed it, other times it's just there and it's nice, so we have it. But and then my high school, and I do this with my 7th and 8th grade, they love it normally. High school more than them. We do a program note project. I always do it when I'm gone for our state conference, or probably around March or April, about a month before our concert. They research and write the program notes for our spring concert, and then I pick out of them one person for each song, and I highlight in the program all program notes written by the students reading them. So I ask if they're comfortable with it. If they're not comfortable with it, I will read it, but still give them credit. The high school, especially for the emotional pieces, they really have done well. For middle school, some of them are it was loud. We liked it. Hope you do too. Cool. And I'm okay, you get your 10 points. Congrats. But that's always a really fun one to see what they come up with, because I ask them to pick their favorite piece. And I have kids that, dark horse candidate, that slow lyric, beautiful piece from the kid that complained about it every single time.
That's really great. I have had them go and search up songs and then submit on a Google form. I've done that before. And there's always something fun that comes out of that. They always pick, never stop believing, or, never going to give you up, never going to give you up, or something like that. Some pop song. I had a kid recommend Rock You Like a Hurricane for the jazz band. And I was like, listen, it's a great song. I just don't want those lyrics in our head when we're playing it. So, anybody else have sub drama, or you're blessed with?
I did have a sub break my trumpet one time. That was fun. Yeah, my first job, it was one of those last minute called in sick on my way to work. It was a 45-minute commute. So I was that morning, woke up and it was not it. My $6,000 custom Yamaha that I went to the store and had it, they decided to pick it up and look at it and forgot to put it back on the stand properly. And it just totally dented, caved it. I had a really cool looking horn for a second, but none of the valves moved. So
did the kids tattle on them, or did they tattle on themselves?
Well, the sub tried to hide it, so they didn't sub after that. The kids, 1,000%. That bus couldn't have driven faster over that sub. They threw it right under. And the school unfortunately said it was my fault, so I had to pay for it.
Wow.
I don't work in that district anymore. It's okay.
Yeah, I don't leave my instruments out if I don't know.
I no
somebody's
longer do.
coming in.
I no longer do.
Yeah.
It was my first year after going to Midwest, and I came back to all of my like screwdrivers over my desk. And so then I was like very worried because they weren't took back, and I was like, oh no, what did someone attempt to fix while I was like gone? And I didn't find anything, but it was the choir teacher actually who had like needed something, but then just forgot to cause she was also pregnant at the time, so she was like, oh, just like pregnancy brain, I forgot to put them back. And I was like, you had me so worried. I was like, also as a choir teacher, like what did you need a mini screwdriver for? I can't. But I was like, I just came back and it looked like a police needing tape around the scene. I was like, what's broken that I don't know about?
Right. It's so tough to take a day off. My sub, who subbed for me in October when I went away, canceled over Midwest now. So I didn't have a sub for Midwest, but I just got a sub who's a parent. So I think that's going to go fine. I'm just going to get the kids to do a lot of stuff. We have a stand decorating contest the 2 days before I leave for Midwest. So like those days we're not even playing at all. So I'm just like going to sacrifice the whole week, and like, it's just not going to be worth anything at this point. The jazz band will play. They always play. They can play themselves. They don't need any.
Please explain the stand decorating contest.
Okay, so I got the idea off of Facebook. So there was in the middle school band director Facebook group, people had done it, and I was like, all right, let's do it. I Googled music stand decorating, and I just showed the kids some pictures like, here, this is a decorated stand. You could do really whatever you wanted. The first year I did any holiday because I didn't want to be like, oh, it's Christmas or oh, it's Hanukkah. I was like, you could decorate a Halloween stand if you wanted to. It could be any holiday stand. And all I'm providing is the stand. And that's it. Like, I will give you can pick out a music stand. You can do whatever you want to that stand. You can take it apart as long as you can put it back together. And you can do whatever you want to that stand as long as it's not permanent. And these kids come up with some crazy ideas. And I give them like 2 days to plan. Like at the end of class, we pack up early. I make them do them by sections so that they bond and grow closer together. And they have to come up with like a list of who's bringing what materials. Like you have to bring your own scissors, your own tape, everything. Now I do at the end of the day have like a table of leftover stuff that the last classes get to use. Like, oh, what's left over? They get to come and take from that table. But yeah, and I give them 2 days. 1 day was kind of rushed. And so now I've gone to 2 days. And mostly because we end up having a 2-hour delay one of those days. And it's a whole thing because of snow or whatever. But so that's all I do. And then I just number them from like 1 to whatever. And then I share them on all my social media. And when I first did it, I think I just like put it on my own personal Facebook and was like, all right, Facebook people vote. And now I put it on all my channels. And my husband has the job to help me tally all of them. And yeah, I just give them like some candy, their favorite candy. I'm like, tell me what you would buy if we went to Sheetz or 7-Eleven. What would you want? I'll buy it for you, kind of thing. So and that's it. It's
We've done a meme more in the past is really fun too. When you're out, you have the kids come up with band, choir, whatever, memes. There are free websites you can go where they do it. My wife did this first, and then I 1000% stole it from her. She's done it with her choirs, and they come up with some fun ones. The only secret is they can't make them inside jokes, and they can't make it pointed about a student. Like it can't be anybody's name. They can do whatever they want with my name. I don't care. But I haven't done that in a while. But it might be a year to make a meme more return. But then same thing. Like have people vote on it, do it, have fun, and maybe print 1 or 2 out, and keep it for posterity.
I will say I've gotten a much thicker skin from doing social media. 4 or 5 years ago, I definitely could not have done something like that. But Making content gives you some thick skin.
I used to have long hair because I grow it out to donate every once in a while. So we're working on it again. But the day after I got it cut, I had a French horn lesson. And I walk in and the kid says, Mr. Morgan, you look so much better. You look so much younger. You look 30 again. And I said, but I haven't been 30 the first time. And his immediate response was, oh, well, you age terribly. Just it was 9:05 in the morning. Happy French horn lesson.
Choosing violence.
Choosing violence.
Violence. Oh my gosh.
Everyone, I'm heading now. I had to drive early in the morning. But happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Yes.
And thanks, chat, for
Thank
all
you
the
for
love.
hanging in there this whole time. You've been awesome.
Yeah. See ya.
Bye.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks.
One time I did have a kid. It was probably my third or fourth year at the school, and this kid was a baritone player, and he was sitting in the back, and I don't know, he was just kind of bold. He was a very bold kid, and he said something, and he called me by my first name. Like he was like, "Yeah, Rachel," or something like that, and I was so shocked in the moment. I didn't say anything. I was like, and he looked around with friends and he said, "What? We all do it." And they looked at him and they were like, "No, we don't." I'll never forget that. And then I taught his two siblings, and now his dad's like the mayor of our town. So it's such a funny story to tell about this kid who I see at the grocery store now, you know. But yeah, kids say the darndest things, let me tell you. I never got a stab to the heart with a haircut, though. Sorry, Chris.
It's all right. They've said far worse, so that was actually a pretty mild one.
I think they're just like I don't get that much as a woman. I don't know what it is. Like, I think they just tread lighter. I don't know.
Well, part of it is, yeah, mine is fully my fault. Fully my fault. I dish it back 10 times worse.
They just like to see me argue with them.
Yeah.
Like, and like, obviously I don't let it disrupt class. So like I do it like towards the end, or if it is getting bad, like I can shut it down pretty quick because they're like, "Oh, you're so nice." And then there are times like, "You can be really scary." But it's like the thing I said yesterday, you know, they're arguing with me. They're saying like, "Oh, you're old." And I'm just like, "Sorry, you still have baby teeth." Or I go, "Oh, what's your bedtime? How does it feel to have to ask your mom for allowance or a ride somewhere? You can't pay your own phone bill? That's crazy."
Yeah. Drive over to the high school and tell me that. It's one of my favorites.
But like right now, I got one of them calling me Unk in the chat. Oh my gosh.
They're so bold.
I think it's meant as endearment. That's really it.
100%, especially this kid, but yeah.
Wow.
So anybody here going to Midwest? I know Miss Lechner is. Miss Williams, you going to Midwest?
Not this year. I usually go, but not this year.
I'm forcing myself to go next year. I haven't been since college.
Let's do it.
I went 2 years ago for the first time ever, and it was incredible. It's the stars have to align and our calendar has to work out. But I was one of those people, somebody's been asking in the comments, any, tips and tricks, take it all in for what it's worth. The first night, whatever hotel you're at, find the restaurant closest to it and eat there. Because I did that. I went down to the hotel restaurant. I sat down. There was a half-eaten burger at a random spot. The guy next to me goes, "Oh, you'll never guess who was just here." I said, "Who?" And he goes, "You missed Frank Kelly by about 6 minutes. That was his chair." And I said, "Okay." And then, of course, because he's a band director, he went, "If you take that with you, you could make your own Kelly." I said, "I think I'm good. I'm fine. I'm gonna give that to the." Yeah. So be prepared for those directors out there. But man, I mean, Midwest is such a great time. Talk to as many people as you can. Do as much as you can. I really want to get back at some point. I want to go to TMEA someday too.
I would like to do that as well. I struggle with Midwest because I don't know where to go and I'm cold. And I don't want to walk around in the cold. So I just DoorDash food to my hotel, and
Oh,
so. But I'll be
there's
excited to
lots of
hopefully
good restaurants.
go with people that can help. Like, hopefully there'll be people there I can catch up with and be like, hey, let's go eat somewhere, and I'll bundle up.
Last year,
there was a place. Sorry.
Yeah, Ms. Williams.
No. You go, Mr. White. You go.
Okay, sorry. It's just really quick.
No,
There was a
you're good.
place right next to it. I think it was an Italian place. I can remember it's been like 4 years, but oh my gosh, it was so good. But like that's the one thing I remember about Midwest, other than the conference, it was just that one Italian restaurant.
Now, last year, words are hard. So me and my team, we went to like a hot pot place. Like, we know where all the restaurants are at. So if you are like willing to like hop on the back of a like cab or whatever, we can show you where it's at. Because there's some really nice stuff out there. But that hot pot place was pretty good. Just don't add a lot of peppercorn, and you'll realize that your stomach will not have an ulcer the next day. So, yeah, that was terrible. I hated that.
I've never had hot pot before, so that would be interesting. I've never even done like the melting pot. You know, like is it like that? But
never heard of the melting pot.
No, melting pot's more
New York.
fondue.
Okay.
Hot pot's like ramen-y soup based. Yeah. We had hot pot in China when we went there on tour for choir, except everybody that went there forgot that it's the city water that's used for it. So we had about 30 of the 50 people with food poisoning the next day. Ooh.
Wow.
But the KFC was totally fine. That one was fine.
Of course it was.
Kentucky. Yeah, I'm you know, as I've been teaching for 21 years, I make decent salary now, but I still live like I'm in college, so spending money is sort of tough sometimes. I still think like a like really, really poor person sometimes, and I struggle to spend money. And my husband's like, it's okay to order an Uber right now. We can afford it. And
do any of your schools or your districts provide any money for like professional development stuff? Is like my schools, if I asked them, like when I went to Midwest last year, they paid for my flight and then they paid for like half of my hotel stuff. And so just
ours
like
is
any
a
little
dollar
bit.
amount. Ours is $600 for conferences. That's all you get. So
ours is if you pay. So like for example, with Missouri, if I pay for my overall MMEA membership and my NAFME membership, I can then, for the conference itself, there's a conference cost. They'll cover that. They'll cover my lodging, but I have to pay for travel.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people just don't know to ask. Like they just think that has to go all out of pocket. But I mean, there's professional development to send those English teachers to that English conference or the math conference and whatever. I mean, the money's there if you don't ask. I mean, our PTO also steps in. They're the ones who helped pay for my stuff last year. So, but yeah.
Yeah, our band boosters does our like covers hotels, and then we cover travel. So then the school just covers our like fee of the conference.
Yeah.
I've gotten it covered before, but then like I've also gotten a scholarship to go before and through Save the Music, and but like there are also grants available for PD. So like our state does a grant for professional development. I actually got one of those to cover my Con Selmer Institute trip for June. So I'm always trying to think about the next thing and find a grant or find someone who'll pay for something. But yeah, we can apply also to like get it covered. So we just have to apply, I guess. So.
This is not to like cut anything from how serious this is, but Donald just put it in the chat talking about he hates all clarinetists, or is that a band thing? What? Like,
clarinet?
Is it bad
no,
to
not
hate
clarinet.
all clarinets, or is that a common thing in band? They just need better reeds. We just need to get them a better mouthpiece and a better reed, and they're going to sound better. Yeah. I know.
Just no alto clarinets. My first job, I had 14 alto clarinets sitting in my band room for no reason.
Why?
They all worked perfectly, too. They were, I mean, as good as they could sound. They all sounded okay, but we never used them.
Were you recording background music for 1950s cartoons?
So we had 14 alto clarinets and 18 kids in band. And... The ratio was just very wrong. But they all were like, "Oh, it's just fun to play it." So
Let me
that's
guess.
the only hate that is justified, I think.
Let me guess. There was also a C melody sax.
3.
Oh, there you go.
I really wish it was such a hodgepodge, but not a single school-owned flute. We could record about a third of Alfred Reed, and that's about it.
Love Alfred Reed. Jeez, I do miss being able to play Alfred Reed. Not being in a high school or college, middle school. It's a little hard to play that stuff. So that's why we have Randall Standridge. So, yeah, I'm excited to go to Midwest, and our state conference is lacking. Honestly, I don't know how your guys' state conference is, but ours is not. We go because we have kids in the all-state band or something. So.
I'm on our state board. It's struggling. Every state, like NAFME has sent it out. Every single state is struggling right now with their MEAs. It's just a lot of it is how do we reach all membership, because elementary is very underserved, high school is overbooked, and also incredibly, if they don't have a kid going to this, we do our conference and our festivals are at the same time. So if they don't have a kid going, what high school director with all the extra festivals they're going to already is going to go and spend 2 or 3 days and hundreds of dollars? So it's a struggle nationwide. NAFME is actually looking into it heavily to see what we can do.
Yeah, our band, they only pay for us to go if we have kids who are in performing ensembles. So
interesting.
We have to pay ourselves if we don't have a kid in the all-state band or all-state choir or orchestra or something like that. So I want to switch to oboe, but my teacher won't let me.
You got to get a private teacher. You got to commit.
Why won't your teacher let you?
Have you learned the instrument you're supposed to learn?
That part.
Are you practicing?
I will let someone learn oboe if they're stellar at the instrument they're already playing, because that shows they can work hard. So,
or
oboe
maybe
makes my head feel like it's gonna pop.
You're like too good at the instrument that you currently are at, and your teacher wants you to stay on that instrument.
They said they played clarinet last year. Now, I have a hard time letting clarinet players go because I need every single one of them.
That's what I've heard too from a lot of schools. Like there's probably a 2 or 3A school down the road from me, and he said that they have 2 clarinets in their high school. Meanwhile, like I'm a 2A and I have 8 at the high school level. So
yeah, we had a couple of years where we only had 3, but we had a band of 80. So the ratio is just was not there at all. So
we have enough clarinets. We don't have trumpet players. For some reason. Yeah, I know.
Someone was asking in the chat if they could join band if they have autism.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
Yeah, we've done it for years.
Yeah.
Was student teaching our first experience in the classroom?
No, I used to, when I was in college, I used to go to like one of the local middle schools and like assist and like help out and things like that. When I had like time in between classes or so, I might go do a class or two, but yeah. And then I taught color guard and like marching band and stuff outside of school. So that was a big experience for me.
They asked, what's the best instrument for someone who's autistic?
That all depends.
Yeah,
it really does. It really does. I've had euphonium. I've had percussion. I've had clarinet, sax. We have had almost every instrument. Yeah, trumpet.
I had a trumpet player who was autistic, and he had perfect pitch. Yeah, and he played trumpet. So
probably calling out everybody for missing notes. You missed that F sharp on measure 2 of.
He had it in. He didn't realize.
Still, no trumpet knows F sharp is 2. No one knows that. No. We still don't.
That's true.
Yeah, he had it in B flat though, so he would always say it in trumpet notes.
Interesting.
I have perfect pitch, and it's the same exact thing. I'm looking and I'll be listening, but I'll be 3 fingers along, exactly what it would be on trumpet, except then I had to play C trumpet, and then life is miserable.
Oh my gosh. Well,
Can you switch from, someone said, can you switch from alto sax to Sousa? That's a pipeline I've never heard. I've heard flute to Sousa.
I don't
You can
know.
do anything if you want.
Our high school is always letting kids switch to Sousa as long as they have enough sousaphones. They want a lot typically, so they'll take almost anybody.
I mean, it depends on the instrumentation needs and like the work that the kid, wants to put into it. I mean, I think we talked about it a little bit before, but like, second year when I taught middle school, when I had enough students, I would have a 7th grade beginning band as well, like that second year. So I'd have kids that would join in 7th grade. And then that also had an opportunity for kids that could be in both band classes and they could take on a secondary instrument. And I think for high schools too, that are like looking for numbers and stuff more, I know a lot of high schools do, but have a beginning class in your day. Like you may have kids that get in there and they can be on level within a few months. Like if they're really willing to put in the work, their dexterity and everything is great.
Well, I've accepted Crane School of Music joining us. I don't know if any of you guys have followed them or not, but I have learned more in the month I've been following them than I knew in the previous 21 years of teaching. So, Samson, are you there?
I will be in a second.
What all have we learned from him? Have you guys learned anything?
So many things, yeah. The repair stuff is like, I mean, that's another, you were talking about things you were shocked by, is like, the number of things that you'd have to like try to figure out how to fix.
Yeah, and like while you're teaching.
Yeah, trying to string a French horn while you're in the middle of class.
Especially like a brass player trying to fix woodwind stuff, because like a trombone player, it's a slide. Slide don't move, either dirty or dented.
Or the spit valves. Yeah, the port stuff.
See, those are easy for me because I'm a brass player, so they're not too bad. But then it's like, oh, this woodwind is slightly out of adjustment and therefore won't play a single note.
Man, my first time fixing like a trumpet valve because like the valve guide fell out, that took me so long, like 45 minutes probably. Like in hindsight, it was like probably that long.
Yeah,
or at least felt like it.
I was like YouTube. I was like, which way does it go? I got it in. I found it was backwards and upside down. I had to like readjust it. Man,
you feel so helpless. You feel so helpless in that moment, and like you're spending so much time on it, and like you don't want it to go to the shop because it could take forever, and it's a pain. It's such a pain.
Depends. They're starting to do it now again, but we have like a music rep that'll come out each week and like repair things, and like if they're if we have needs and stuff like that. And if it's like already
I used to do stuff like that. I used to go to on-site and do repair. Back when I was in Texas. I was in Texas for 15 years repairing. And I would go to schools and do repair. And I would also go to marching competitions and do repair on-site at marching competitions.
That's a huge help.
Oh yeah. We used to have that, like our region band. We would always have a tech person, during the day. We have Emily asked, first year, middle, and high school director, what are some things you wish you knew going in?
Middle school sucks for everyone. It's always hard no matter what. And you need to understand that for the kids. Like, they're going through it. They all are everywhere. So you got to try and meet them and help them.
And also just make it the fun part of the day. Like I tell parents, like they're like, oh, middle school, and I was like, guys, middle school is armpits. We all have them, and like we just have to take care of them, and that's the whole point. And it's not always going to be roses, and sometimes it's going to be kind of stinky, but band is going to be your favorite class of the day. And we got to keep it that way so that you keep coming to school. Like I've had kids who said that band was the reason they came to school. I had a kid attempt suicide and say band was the reason he came to school. Like, and things like that. When I hear that, I'm like, I have to be the best thing I can for my students, you know, when I know what they're going through. So I don't know if that got flagged or something, but
you got you have to have a lot of patience with them. Some things I have to realize myself is that they're still kids at the end of the day. They're not these high schoolers. They're not these professional college players. And like Miss Allen and Cooking with Babel said, you know, they're also kids too, and they're trying to figure themselves out. Which to me, I feel like I have a gift with in understanding that they're constantly changing every 5 seconds. Because 1 second it's like I love you, the next second is I hate you, leave me alone, and then the next day it's like we're friends, and I'm like, okay, very weird, but yeah. And also state your boundaries. All right, it's gonna suck the first time, but I promise you, once you start setting them, it's easy money from there. My kids understand. I give them the look. They're like, oh, okay, she wants to shut up. Yeah, that's right.
Yes, just like what Mr. White said, like he wished he would have set some things earlier, but they built up, right? Isn't that what you said, Mr. White? Like you wish you had just like locked things in. I was guilty of that too. I was like, oh, I can let that slide. Oh, I can let that slide. But turns out, like, no, you need to all go back to your assigned seats. You can't sit where you want.
Yeah, there was a PL that I was in one time, and it was a band director, and they were talking about everything that's happening inside of my classroom is I'm allowing, whether it's good or it's bad, like, you know, I'm allowing this to happen. So it's like you have to look back on yourself, but also remember, like, you're gonna wanna like be right in that moment, and you kind of have to choose, like, do I want to argue with this right now, or do we need to talk about this outside of class? And typically it's just outside of class, after class, because middle schoolers, they look at their peers for approval, and they will save face no matter what. So if you get in a power struggle with them and you try to argue, I've done it, and it doesn't end well, right? You're not going to win in that situation, and it's just gonna, you know, you kind of have to let it go in that moment and just kind of move on, you know, put out that little fire, and then we can have a chat after class.
Yeah, pick your
about
battle,
that sort of thing.
Yep.
I think the other thing to mention is, and I got told this, I think late college, student teaching, things like that, but the actual teaching aspect of your job is anywhere from only like 20 to 30% of the full job. So we talked a lot about that, but just understanding all the administrative stuff. So something I wish I would have known when I first got there is, you know, and if I ever leave the district, can I get a list of who I go to for these things? And actually know, especially as a first year teacher, not knowing, you know, honestly, I'm not going to lie. I felt pretty dumb, but I was like, what's the difference between an invoice and a PO? Something you don't get told in college, you know? It's like, you need to turn in your invoices.
Professional leave. Like anytime you leave your campus, you should be filling out a form, and you're doing your job in another location. There should be something you fill out for insurance purposes, like so that you are covered. And like if someone hadn't told me that, like I would have never known. I would have just been kept doing it. Someone asked, I have my first concert soon. What would you do to not be nervous?
My old teacher,
play in front of your cat.
My old teacher used to tell me repeatedly when I was doing my master's in performance that being nervous means you care. Being nervous to play means you care. So don't be afraid of being nervous. Just learn how to embrace that and do your best through it. The day you're not nervous anymore means you don't care about how you do. It doesn't mean you care about it. It means you don't care about how you're sounding, how you're affecting the audience. So nerves aren't bad. They're your body's normal response to caring if you do something well.
Yeah.
Well, and I think you need to also, I mean, I always try and tell my kids, like, no one in the audience wants you to fail. And no one in the audience, hopefully, I mean, you might have that one dad that still plays, but if I hand them an instrument, they're not going to do much better. They shouldn't. Like, they want to see you be successful. They want to hear it. So we're going to give them the best we can. I always tell them it's never going to be perfect. I don't expect it to be perfect. We're going to get as close as we can, and we're going to show them what you can do. And so I think if you've got your first performance coming up, like, you have to just understand it's music, not brain surgery. Like, no one should die by the end of it. And if they do, then we're really bad at our jobs. It's one of my favorite sayings anymore.
That's great. Yeah, I'll still get paid no matter what happens, you know.
Yeah.
I don't mean to cut y'all short, but I'm about to dip.
It was great meeting y'all.
Yes.
Hope to see y'all again.
Hop on again. We're definitely going to do these again. I love doing this on the break because I have like energy and time. So thank you for joining us, Miss Williams.
All right, bye.
Yeah, just to touch on that a little bit, I really do want to do more of these over winter break. So those of you who have winter breaks, time off, I know we get like 2 weeks. It's crazy this year, and snow days too. I'm thinking of hitting up some snow days when we get some big storms and whatnot. I would love to keep doing this. So we were talking about nerves. Anybody else have any thoughts on nervousness?
Well, I mean, it's just so much of it is that, just like you're practicing your horn is just practicing performing, playing, like I said, the joke for Miss Lechner there, play in front of your cat, play in front of your dog, play in front of like your little brothers, play in front of your mom and dad, like just, play in the mirror, record yourself, just kind of start getting to that. Hey, listen to this. What do you think? I mean, it's just like the more they can do that, the easier that gets. And then just, remember that you're performing as an ensemble and you're working together and you're relying on your friends to, if you make a mistake, they'll get you back in, not to like give up in that moment. Because if you fall in the hallway, you're up in 0.5 milliseconds acting like it didn't happen. So, you got to recover and keep going.
In school concerts. So our first actual concert is on December 10th in the evening for the community, parents, all that. But the day before, we are all going to the gym for our middle school concert. So it'll be 6th grade's first public performance, and it's just for middle school kids and teachers. And then it switches and we do the middle school band, and that's just kind of their prep. But I mean, how we prepare for that every day leading up is, all right, guys, concert run. And concert run isn't just going to mean their music. It's also going to be, all right, so picture yourselves on the floor. Lights are super bright. You're dressed up. It's 6:50. We're going to warm up together. Right at 7 o'clock, this is exactly what you're going to do. And we practice, like we do a first, second, third position with the podium. My arms go up to the third position. And we do all of those things to really get them comfortable, because I go, this is exactly what it's going to be like in 3 weeks.
Yeah. No one know what to expect. Yeah.
Yeah, going through everything with the concert. Like I had some student observers from our college come, and when I was teaching, going over the entire program with my 6th grade combined band, and there's like 70 kids in this class. And I'm telling them, like, also while we're going through all the motions, I'm like, you have to explain everything, because they don't know anything. They're babies. They're like, they were born yesterday in the band world, and they don't know how to do a concert. They don't know how to sit in a concert. You have to tell them everything. And then you also have to tell their parents. Like we had to have this is a side note, but I think it's important to say, we had to have our concert in our gym because our band just got too big for the stage that we play at another school. It was a good problem to have. And, but we had to have our concert in the gym. And I got on the microphone before the concert started, before our first kid started talking. And I said, I understand we are in a gym. This is where you would be on your phone. You could be watching a volleyball game or a basketball game. However, we're watching a concert. It's not appropriate to talk at full volume at a concert. It's not appropriate to be on your phone at a concert. Like, and some parents were like, yeah. Like, and some parents were like, oh, so like there's a little bit of thing. You have to explain those things because not everybody knows. If your kid's never been in band and you've never been in band, you've probably never been to a band concert.
We also went as far as our first concert is when we were like working on stage with my 6th graders is I was like, okay, now like we're going to listen to the 7th graders. So like, let's transition off stage and we're going to sit in these seats and practice like how do you get off of stage and how do you sit in these seats? And then like, this is what feeling like sitting in the seats is, and what do you do with your instruments, and like where are your mouthpiece caps and tubas, like how do you do all of this stuff?
We do a dress rehearsal the day of for all the logistics, but I really don't run music the day of the concert. We do about a month before, and I might make a video about it. We call it State of the Union Day. We run everything, and I film it, and then I post it to Classroom for the kids to see. I also want to see, do I like the order we put the pieces in? I kind of do it for me. Is it Should I switch anything up? How do your faces feel? Endurance wise, all that stuff. So we run it. I get timing. I'll flip my baton around and be like, at this point, I will be talking about this piece and all these kids that went to this honors band, and you would still not be talking, and like kind of entertain a little bit during that, but to get a sense of how long is it going to take that timpanist to tune? Okay, how much time do I need? Because for the winter concert, I don't have kids do really anything other than perform. I don't have them say anything. I don't have them do it because they're nervous. It's the first performance we've had of the year. By the spring, they're ready to take their moment, go to the microphone, say the things they need. But State of the Union has been great. And it's also kind of a reality check. We always do it normally a week or two before Thanksgiving break, and then we try and do it before Easter break for us. So that way they have the break. They know what what do we have to do? What do we have to clean up? Where are the scary moments? And I don't say that things were bad. I say those were scary. We need to make them less scary. We need to survive. So
yeah, well, I'm impressed you can make it through everything a whole month before your concert.
Oh, no. I say we play through it all. There was probably a 30 measured chunk in one of the songs where nothing happened, and I went, and this is where this would be happening, and this is where that would be happening, and 65, go.
Yeah, right, right.
Pull up your soprano singing voice and just start singing the flute part because they got lost and they're just looking at each other. They're like, what
or you say nothing and you just stare and see if they can get back on.
Yeah.
So it's one of those, see how, if you can learn how to play, you can learn how to recover. And I think that's just as important.
Right. Do we have any questions for instrument repair for Samson here today? Do we have any?
I was going to say, we answered this question earlier, but what's one of the craziest things you've pulled out of an instrument?
That I'm allowed to say on here?
Yes.
I pulled a dead rat out of a tuba.
Ooh.
Always the tuba.
Pulled a dead rat out of a tuba. I pulled a McDonald's chicken nugget out of a euphonium upper bow.
That checks out.
Yeah,
and it was awful because it had not molded or rotted at all. It was in perfect condition, and I don't know how long it was in there. And it's a reason I don't eat McDonald's chicken nuggets anymore. I just recently pulled a drumstick out of a French horn that had gotten wedged in like part of the wraparound of the bell.
Wow.
That's impressive.
Okay. I was just thinking like how
commitment.
Okay.
We're all contemplating the physics now.
Yeah.
I actually have a question for all of you. What is the repair, since I'm sure you all dabble at least a little bit in repairing your own instruments to avoid the dreaded sending it out for weeks at a time.
Mm-hmm.
What's the repair that you guys are afraid to do?
I have one. I have a personal saxophone, and actually ever since I wanted to ask this, my G sharp key, like those four pinky key region, one of them is popped so far forward, and I have no clue what is going on with it at all. Like I don't know if it's the G sharp or like the low B one to the left of that, but it's the left pinky. No clue what is going on there.
And it's just out of alignment from the other key?
Popped up.
Like I've looked at it so much. Like most of the time I'm able to start figuring stuff out. But like when I put it back, there's a little bit of wiggle, like there's a loose spring, but I go, look, no springs. It's just that one key is just super popped out, and now all four pinky keys are wonky.
Yeah, clarinets and saxophones, I will not you don't bend keys on those.
Oh, no, they're so easy. Clarinets are so easy to fix.
Clarinets more so, but saxophones will get if you bend something wrong.
Oh, come on, you've never bent an octave key?
I was gonna say I've bent an octave key, but as far as
I'm talking the lower those pinky. I call them the puzzle keys, and then the
my favorite sax repair to do that freaks everyone who doesn't understand the mechanics of it out when I do it is the bell keys get out of alignment because the bell is not actually attached to the body. It's held on by a brace and a seal.
I saw that video.
You saw me do it.
Smack it.
And you basically have to smack the bell really hard into something hard and stable to put it back where it should be.
What?
And it freaks people out. I used to have customers that would be like, hey, can you just put my sax back in adjustment real quick? I was like, hey, yeah, but you might want to turn around for this one part. I'm like, no, I'm good. And I smashed their sax on a table. They're like, what did you just do?
It's saxophone chiropractic. It's fine.
In the Facebook group that I'm in, I saw a picture of a kid holding the bell in one hand and the rest of the saxophone in the other.
Oh, I saw that one.
Yeah.
I was like, how does that happen?
Yeah, because they're not attached. They're not soldered. The real old school ones, like old HN White, old King saxes, are soldered together. They stopped doing that in like the 50s. They stopped hard soldering them together, and now they're
just
switching
friction.
Yeah.
Wow. Huh. The more you know.
That.
Is that in a brace?
You know.
Oh.
Wow. Well, I love your channel, and I don't watch the string stuff. I'm sorry, I don't teach strings, but I'm sure Mr. Landry does. Likes to see that stuff because he teaches strings.
Yeah.
But
I've got a E string I've got to replace when I get back.
Isn't it? Don't we all have a list of things we have to do? Like, I feel like I need to just be someone to hit me over the head on Sunday night before break is over, so I will sleep all night because I'll just be sitting and thinking about 100 things that need done. Oh,
I think 6 students signed up for COAs when I get back from break because they don't want to go home and pay full price at their shop by where they live.
I'd be using that. Shoot.
Yeah.
Well, it is 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so we're going to wrap this up. Guys, it has been a pleasure hanging out with you guys tonight, and we'll do this again for sure. I've learned so much, and if you guys don't follow these people, why aren't you, those of you in the chat, go follow all of these amazing creators because they make good stuff. Thank you, guys. My new best friends.
Yes, this was so fun.
Yes, thank you guys for coming. Until next time, we'll see you.
Yeah. Well, happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yes, same
Happy
to you.
Thanksgiving.
Enjoy your pumpkin pie. Yes, bye.